Hello everyone, I'm Aeshmah. I'm gonna be playing Ghost of Tsushima for you guys for the next, around about 3.5 hours. It's gonna be quite a long run here, and with me on commentary I have... Right, and as we just heard, we have Sora as the name of our trusty steed for the rest of the game. So I think since we have a lot of time to talk about the run itself the run itself, let's just go ahead and get things underway in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, welcome to the island of Tsushima, everybody. Having a little bit of a problem with a Mongol invasion going on at the moment. The Japanese island is under Mongol occupation. They killed off all the samurai on the island, you know, the protectors, except one. That one being Jin Sakai, our main protagonist, who we are in control of, and in fact his uncle, Lord Shimura, who we are setting out to rescue as our goal in the first act of the game, because Jin adamantly believes that he can only save his island by freeing his uncle, because his uncle is actually the lord of the whole island of Tsushima. So that is what we are setting out to do in the first act of the game here.
Jin, you found me.
Yeah, it's like, you know, one of the nice things that they added with New Game Plus, because when the game initially released, we didn't have a New Game Plus option, so you could only ever start a run from a fresh save file, and since you would not be able to skip the prologue and not be able to skip any of the cutscenes, a run in the normal any percent category takes you about 7 hours or so. So that is quite a long one to get through, and, you know, even though the cutscenes are very nicely done, the story is really interesting, having to watch all of it like all the time can get a little bit boring, especially since about 2 hours and 10 minutes of the run are just going to be cutscenes. So it's a lot of time that we're just sitting there listening to people talk. However, on the flip side, it also does give you ample opportunity to take a break in between, because at the end of each of the 3 acts, you get a nice about 5-minute cutscenes or so to take a bathroom break or whatever you need. So, you know, at least it balances itself out a little bit, so you don't have to sit there for the whole 7 hours and never get a break in between, which is kind of nice.
I suppose you're right. My uncle taught me that a samurai masters his emotions, like you master a horse or a blade.
That's a hard way to live.
It's not supposed to be easy. There's a spot up ahead that overlooks the river.
Should give us a good view of the Mongol camp. There's the camp.
So we are making our way here to the first Mongol encampment. We actually have Yuna, the lady in red over there, traveling with us. She is looking for her missing brother Taka, who is a blacksmith, and she believes that he is being held prisoner by the Mongols in this encampment. And, you know, since she is the person who actually rescued Jin at the initial Mongol invasion, we kinda owe her a favor, so we decide to tag along and see if we can help her free her brother. So let's see if we can do exactly that in the beginning here.
Taka.
One of the things about this game is the fact that, you know, it's a speedrun, so obviously we want to try and go fast. However, the game is kinda very rigidly programmed, meaning that we actually haven't found a lot of ways to try and go fast, like all the quest triggers and whatnot are set in such a way that we just haven't found any way to circumvent them, so we will have to follow the main story beats as they happen. We aren't actually able to skip any of the main quests or anything like that, sadly. On the flip side, you know, you get to see all the main quests that the game has to offer. So if you haven't seen the game yet, you are basically in for a treat, because you will basically see all of it, minus the story sequences, which will just leave up to your imagination, I suppose. So do go out and buy the game yourself if you want to know what actually happens there. Well, that's where we count it, I suppose. What's happening here is, you know, Jin has been trained as a samurai for all his life, but now since he is alone, he doesn't have any backup. He's of course forced to you know, find some other, well, way of dispatching his enemies, in this case assassinating them from behind. However, that kinda isn't his thing. You know, a samurai is supposed to honorably fight enemies like head on and not from the shadows. So he's having a little bit of you know, change of conscience, as you want to say. So he's having a flashback with his uncle, you know, telling him to do exactly that, which is fight honorably and stuff. And you know, it just clashes with his beliefs, and that is actually a central theme of the game. Jin having to come to terms with how to survive, how to actually save his people from the Mongol invasion, but also kind of trying to honor the samurai code as best as he can. And yeah, like I said, it's one of the central plot points, which has actually huge implications along the story.
We'll talk when it's safe.
Come on.
Let's get to the river.
So yeah, we just rescued a Ronin. It's actually not Juno's brother. Surprise, surprise. So we will have to keep looking for him.
Lord Shimura's been captured, and I could use some extra swords to free him. Are you looking for work?
No, but the other Straw Hats may be. Last I heard, they were hunting Mongols in Tsitsu Prefecture. By the coast, near the
Okay.
Bishi grasslands.
This way. We're looking for my brother, a blacksmith named Taka.
Don't know him, but a lot of prisoners moved through here.
On my side, any idea how I would plug that into OBS? Okay, let's try that.
Okay, can we get some help from chat? Charlatan, could you please introduce yourself real quick?
Hello everyone, I'm Charlatan and I'm hoping that this is working for you. Hopefully you guys in chat can hear me. Okay, they hear Discord, nice.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right, we can resume in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right then. So, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself again, because apparently people didn't get that the first time.
Yeah. So hello everyone. Sorry for the difficulties. How it is. I'm Charlatan. You can call me Charlie or Charles. I'm also a speedrunner of this game. I speedrun Ghost of Tsushima on the easiest category in both any percent and New Game Plus. And yeah, so happy to be here with Aeshmah. We are a small community, and he's the symbol of the speedrun community. So I'm always happy to be here with him doing these noble causes in marathons.
Thank you, thank you. Jonathan is actually hot on my heels when it comes to speedrunning this game. The only thing that is actually holding him back at the moment is a difference in the hardware that we're using, because the leaderboards actually do not differentiate between the different console and hardware setups, in particular PlayStation 4 with an SSD, or PlayStation 5. Now, I am actually running the game on a PlayStation 4 Pro with an SSD, which of course has a lot of load time improvements, whereas he is running on the base PS4. And I'm really looking forward to, once he finally upgrades, to see how much that improves his time, so we can have a bit of a neck-on-neck race from that point onward. So, yeah, let's see about that in the future, I want to say. But yeah, Sensei Ishikawa, what do we have to say about Sensei?
Well, Ghost of Tsushima is a really interesting game in the fact that all the main side quests are tales, like they are stories of specific characters. And in Act 1, we have some quests, and they are like gathering people so we can raid Castle Canada. And we are gonna meet like a couple of characters here in Act 1. One of them is Sensei Ishikawa, that we need to do the first tale of his side quest, so he can be in the fight at the end of Act 1, and well, all the fights later. And we're gonna do this in all Act 1. Sensei Ishikawa is a archer master, and his side quest is to hunt his student. He's went rogue. So yeah, here is going to give us the bow that we are going to use in the normal playthrough. But because this is New Game Plus, we already have the bow, but we need to do this quest anyways.
Yeah, like I said earlier, even though the game has been out for quite a while, we still haven't been able to find any way to skip any of the main quests or stuff like that, because the game is very well programmed. The quality assurance team did a heck of a job making sure that basically not a lot of bugs and or glitches got through there, and much to the chagrin of the speedrunning community, because we just have not been able to break the game with any meaningful luck.
Yeah, in that sense, I think PS4 games are almost all like that. There is it's very difficult to make like sequence breaks, but we have found some skips that lets us like saves, I don't know, like 5-10 seconds per skip, and also with all the combat, I will say yesterday I did an any percent run. And New Game Plus is just, the combat is so improved, because with one bomb you are going to see it later. With one bomb you can clear like a bunch of enemies, and is that what we are working right now? Like doing the battles like as fast as possible with all the resources that we have in New Game Plus. But yeah, it's hard to break the game. It has a lot of checkpoints in the middle, so you can get like 1 centimeter away of the main story. Otherwise, the game reloads you in an older checkpoint. So it's still fun.
Yeah, you just have to embrace that mentality that you just have to go and check down all the checkpoints the game throws at you, and you just have to see that you're being efficient between them. You want to do the fights fast. You don't want to lose time traveling between areas and stuff like that. But yeah, it's actually an interesting point. On New Game Plus, we of course also have access to our whole arsenal, of different tools and upgrades and whatnot.
I'll find a way.
Because, you know, it's New Game Plus, of course. We take everything that we have gathered in a previous run through the game, be that armor sets, the upgrades, capacity upgrades for our ammunition and stuff like that. And we keep all that in New Game Plus run, of course. So if you ever see a New Game run from a fresh save file of this game, it will look wholly different than what you are going to see here.
Yeah, most of the strats that we use in New Game Plus are based on charms that we have. And getting charms in Ghost of Tsushima is like the slowest thing ever. So it's not worth it to get them on the any percent. Because the ratio between how much time you lost and how that can help you is actually not worth it. And also the charms that we have in the armors, they work together, so it's not like one is going to make a difference. They need to work all together. We actually are going to be changing our armor, and now Aeshmah has the ghost armor on, and this armor is made for terrifying enemies. So this perk is actually awesome, because the game is going to register enemies that are terrified as defeated. So if you have to, for example, kill 10 enemies, and you kill one of them and all the other 9 get terrified, the game is going to register that like you defeat all the enemies, so you can continue the quest. So this terrifying perk is going to be active if you, for example, put enemies on fire, if you kill an enemy, if you parry an enemy. So all those chances, we have the armor set up so they are the max that they can be. So this is also like RNG, because you can control how many enemies are going to get terrified. So you are hoping for the most amount of enemies getting scared. But that can lead to kill one enemy and defeat 10, or kill one enemy and still you have to defeat the 10 by hand. So
that is basically... Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
That is basically where a lot of the RNG in the run comes in, because you just saw me. I had to kill all the enemies in this particular battle, and a lot of them ran away because they got scared of me. However, this one guy with the spear that I had to kill at the end, he wasn't terrified. I still had to kill him, and you know, you don't immediately know where the last enemy might still hide out that you need to kill in order to progress the quest. So that is where, you know, the runner experience will come in. How quickly can you identify that last missing enemy that you still have to defeat to continue on? And, you know, where is he? And that can, of course, lose you or save you time, because, you know, if that guy just had been scared away, I wouldn't have had to spend the time to find him and to kill him, and all of this would have gone over a little bit quicker.
I taught her to make the knock with deer horn.
Yeah, so this is like the perk of this armor, the ghost armor, that lets you terrify enemies as much as possible. And it's also like fire based, because enemies that are on fire, they get more damage, and if they die, they can terrify an enemy, but an enemy is on fire, it also can terrify the enemy. So we think that the chances of terrifying one enemy is like, I don't know, 90%, 80% or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So if you, for example, watch like some of best of any runner, you are going to see quite a leap there, because all the goals is like the best RNG that you can ever have. So kill one enemy, purify 10, and that's the goal. So, but yeah, as Ash says, it also depends how good you can spot and adjust to all the circumstances, because obviously you want to kill everybody as soon as possible.
Alright, and that is actually it for Sensei Ishikawa. Now, do keep in mind that every one of these characters that we are gonna meet and enlist for help has a whole slew of side quests associated to him or her. However, this being a speedrun, of course, we are not going to do any of them because they are not part of the critical path. So even though you will see these characters at certain points in the game, you know, we just won't see a lot of them around. I am missing something here. Ow. I think I forgot to take the surveyor's camp, didn't I? Surveyor's camp. Ah well. A little bit of a longer ride then in that case.
Yeah.
I was, you know, thinking how the hell would Ghost of Tsushima screw me over today, and apparently it chose to do it in that way. Because, you know, why we have a little bit of a horse right here. Let me tell you a little real life story. Why shouldn't I? So, some of you guys may know that I am actually in the process of moving from one apartment to the next. And that was scheduled to be next weekend. So I thought, you know, before I move, let's have a few speedrun marathon submissions and do that before I leave my home here. And life has a funny way of not sticking to the plan. So what actually happened is that I am actually in the process of moving at this very moment. And so I've been doing speedrun marathons this whole weekend while packing boxes and whatnot in between them and stripping them over to my new apartment. And let's just say that like every run that I've done over this weekend has been screwing with me with bad RNG left and right. Like not a single run I want to say that I did go according to plan. So I was a little bit cautious going into Ghost of Tsushima. I was waiting how it would screw me over. So not only did it do that to me just now, what also happened is when I actually wanted to start this particular run, you know, we were ahead a bit of schedule, and the tech team has notified me of that. I was hopping into tech setup. I was ready to start the game. And then it told me, hey dude, if you want to play this game, how about you go ahead and actually insert the disc? And I took a look around me, and I didn't see the game packaging. We had already moved all the boxes of this room into my new apartment. So I actually had to drive to my new apartment from here, open up all the boxes, manically scramble to find the game box. Luckily, I did that in record time. Drive back here and then start up the game and hop into tech setup. So I actually did a kind of a mini real life speedrun in order to do this speedrun right here. So maybe speedrun marathons and actual doing the runs don't actually mix, I want to say.
God damn it.
So yeah, I am really interested to see how this run is going to continue, because I have not had a good RNG for like the whole weekend. So I am really interested to see how this run goes. Anyway, back to the game.
Yeah, how you like a fast travel point for doing that?
Used by the women of Clan Adachi. They fought to defend their family.
Oh man, I can't believe the stress. Hopefully, it seems like it was kind of close though.
Yeah. Alright, it's only like I don't know, a bit more than a 10-minute drive, so it's not like in the next town over or something. But still. Heart has been racing as well. But we are here, we have a run going, so let's see how we can do.
Yeah, let's see. And by the way, not to put pressure in Aesh, but he has his last world records, has been on marathon, so I have high expectations for this run.
Yeah,
Because no, go ahead.
I think it actually was also the last run that I did. So yeah, let's see about that.
Yeah. He don't also have the world records. He has a world record commented by me, so that's let's keep that trend going. So here we already meet Lady Masako. He is the husband, the wife of the samurai. That one of the samurais that die on Komoda Beach, which is the first encounter between the Mongols and the Japanese samurais of Tsushima. And sadly, someone killed his entire family. So now she's seeking revenge. And we said that all the characters have like another story, and in this case, Masako's story is to find who killed the clan Adachi, which is his clan. And yeah, he obviously is in a revenge path. So we had some names for she. She's all she's called Lady Massacre, and also how is you called her? Killer Grandma or something?
Murder Granny.
Mother Granny. And yeah, as the same with Sensei Ishikawa, we are just going to do the first quest of the Tale of Lady Masako. And this quest is actually like find names and ask people if they know where the assassins are.
Yeah, so Lady Masako has a vague, idea who may have betrayed her, but she doesn't have any concrete leads to go on. So since we are a bit of an outsider to that whole plot going on here, she sends us in to have a look around, see if we find anybody suspicious, ask a few questions here and there, and see if we can find any leads, basically.
I am Sakai.
Yeah, this
So-
is actually a really good place in the normal playthrough because you get really nice armor. Obviously, because we are on New Game Plus, we are not going to use it. But yeah, this is basically like a stealth mission with a fight at the end.
It suits you perfectly.
And there's the samurai armor. It's basically the first armor that you're probably gonna get if you play this game casually. However, as Charles just said, we're not gonna use it like at all in a speedrun because it is a very defense-orientated set of armor, which increases your health, it increases your defense. But we are speedrunners. We want to go fast, so we will stick to armor that actually increases our damage or gives us other effects like the Terrify effect, as we explained earlier with the Ghost armor. So yeah, we will just immediately shelve the Samurai armor, and sadly never wear it again.
Yeah, you can actually watch Aech like going like taking detours and picking resources. We're going to be doing that in every place that we can because in difference with another New Game Plus games, in Ghost of Tsushima you actually don't start with ammunition at all. You have all your upgrades, you have all your weapons and stuff, but you don't have any ammunition for them. So we actually need to buy stuff, we need to pick stuff. So we are going to be picking supplies. This is kind of, we are at war, so money is not really a thing. We trade food and supplies and stuff like resources. And that's going to be like the currency in Ghost of Tsushima. So we are going to use that resources to buy explosive bombs, fire arrows, explosive arrows, smoke bombs, kunais, and sticky bombs. So that's why we are going here and there picking some stuff so we can then use this for shopping.
And this is basically the trailing section of this particular quest. We are supposed to follow this monk to a den of thieves, which Masako believes has murdered her family. However, as you saw me do there, once you get too far away from your target, like this, the game happily reminds you, hey, you need to stick to that person over there, you're supposed to follow him. However, since he will always go down the same path and we know exactly where he is going, what we actually do is we will basically lead him on until he comes to that rock over there, kinda, like he does now. And that should mean that he is in the perfect position, that we can just go ahead and quickly run to the next story checkpoint. We should be able to do that before the timer runs out and gives us the game over, and we would have to do that all over again. So as long as we can make it to over here, perfect. We can actually continue this quest without Sogen being anywhere near us, but however, he still has a nice conversation with these guys over here, so I guess he is a telepathic monk or something?
Yeah. What we think about Ghost of Tsushima is that all the cutscenes are actually in game. So, for example, Jin is going to maintain his armor in all the cutscenes when he's. So that's why that cutscene is supposed to be with Sogen there, but Sogen is not there, so the cutscenes happens anyways without him there. And here we're going to use the standoff with these guys. We can't avoid it. or we haven't found a way to avoid standoff, which are really slow, if you ask me. And here we are going to obviously kill enemies as fast as possible with the hope that all the other enemies are going to get scared. And this is, for example, another RNG part, because you can control how many enemies are gonna get scared. You want the most of them to get scared, but you know how this is.
So normally this fight could be a little bit quicker. I could use, you know, stuff like an explosive arrow to take care of some of the enemies around here. However, the game has been really stingy with drops for me. I only have one single explosive arrow that I will need for a bit coming up a little bit later, so I opted not to use that there, but in turn, you know, making this fight go on for a little bit longer than I would normally do it. But that's also one of the things that differentiates the different difficulties. There are 4 difficulty settings in this game: easy, normal, hard, and lethal. And not only do they make the enemy a bit tankier and more aggressive and deal more damage and stuff like that, they also affect the drops, the item drops that you're gonna get. So the way that it works is you will still get the same pickups. Like, for example, at the before the raid of Fort Nakayama together with Sensei Ishikawa, which you did a couple minutes ago, you are able to pick up some arrows scattered around the battlefield. However, depending on the difficulty that you have selected, you will pick up different amounts of arrows per pickup. So you can, for example, pick up like, I don't know, 10 normal arrows with 1 pickup, whereas on easy difficulty, whereas on lethal you will only get like 5 arrows and stuff like that. So, for example, if you're playing on easy difficulty, you will get like, I don't know, 8 explosive arrows and 10 fire arrows. However, the game actually, you know, bad RNG, started to screw me over a bit and only gave me a single fire arrow and a single explosive arrow. So I have to pay close attention to those numbers, as I will need both of those a little bit later in the run. Now, of course, I could go ahead and make a shopping trip to, you know, buy more of those. I would have the resources to do so, but it would also mean that I would lose the time to actually go ahead and buy them, because we have optimized the route so far that we actually do not do any more shopping trips during the whole of Act 1. So I will try and make that happen, but I guess we will see about that.
Yeah, you know, in speedruns, the optimized they get, you stop doing stuff that you did before, and shopping is one of the things that we want to drop at in Act 1, because it takes time, obviously, and if you can do the whole Act 1 without shopping, obviously it saves time. And yeah, here we are going now to the second part of the Yuna quest, and as you can see, Ash is going into the forest without, like, you can't see any compass on the screen or like marker. And Ghost of Tsushima have a really minimalistic hub. I mean, you can see right now anything on the screen. You have the wind that tells you where to go, but you need to have an mission active for getting that. So one of the hardest part, I will say, in Ghost of Tsushima is actually know where to go, because all the forests are kind of the same, all the trees are kind of the same. So going from A to B in these long rides, you have to start like picking, like, oh yeah, this tree seems familiar, I'm gonna use this as reference. Obviously at this point, most of us already like know the island kinda, but this is actually a really hard thing to learn. Not having the compass or marker is actually really cool if you are playing normally. I find the HUD of the game really nice and clean and minimalistic, but damn, I will love a compass for for speedrunning.
Yeah, you really just have to learn the layout, at least of these story missions, by heart if you want to go fast. Because, you know, you can still opt to go to the menu, to the map, because there is a whole map of the whole island in the menu, and set down like your own trackers, so you can actually navigate to those, because they will show up in the game world. However, as you can imagine, that is slow. You know, you don't want to have to go to the map and stick quest markers all over the place, but it's definitely a lot of help if you're just gonna go ahead and learn the run, because by God, you will not be able to just memorize a whole 3-hour run of where to go doing it the first time. So, you know, if you would intend to pick up the game to speedrun it, definitely do go to the map and use quest markers and stuff like that to navigate the island.
Yeah. So now we are going to the house of Genji. He is a friend of Yuna. And yeah, Yuna is trying to rescue his brother. He is a blacksmith. And the first quest that we did, Taka, his name, it was supposed to be there, but it wasn't. So now we are trying to figure out if it is in this place, in Asamo Bay.
The Mongols won't search it?
Not anymore. It's the same.
Yeah, I think Kenji is like one of the most endearing characters of the whole cast. Like, he is a bit of the comic relief because the game is actually quite grim in a way. So he's like this smuggler and sake brewer, and he's a bit of a loudmouth, to be fair. But he's generally funny, I think. And coming up is another section where we are supposed to travel with our allies while we have a bit of a conversation. However, if I do this correctly, and I will just skirt around the edge that the game allows me to be away from my companions here, Kenji will be very adamant that a few people, you know, did a thing. Now, what actually happens here is, if you run away from your allies, for some reason Kenji is programmed in a way that he will just repeat whatever it is that he just said. It only ever happens with Kenji. It doesn't happen with any of the other characters. If this dialogue were to progress to another character speaking and you would run out of range, it would actually skip what they were about to say and skip to the next character. However, for Kenji, in a way, it's just programmed so that he will always repeat what he was just gonna say. And this little card right here into Asamo Bay is actually the only break that we are gonna get in the whole run. So, you know, take the moment to stretch, to hydrate, do whatever. But it's only gonna last a minute or so, so be quick about it.
Yeah. So, as I said, this is the only break in the game. I think 3 hours is actually not that long. But yeah, this is the only break. And now we are going to Asamo Bay. We think that that guy is here. And in this whole area, we are going to use a trick that is really useful. And in my opinion, it's kind of broken, which is the Tumbleweed Samurai. And this is basically a trick that I'm gonna say it right now because we can focus on the game later. When you are crouching and you start rolling, if you start rolling without any enemy having spotted you, you are invisible. So we can stop rolling and be in front of an enemy rolling without stopping, and nobody's going to see us. And we're going to use that here. So we can skip actually a really long stealth mission. Kind of Assassin's Creed mission where you have to follow somebody and they can't be that far from you. That kind of mission.
We need a vantage point to scout ahead.
Okay, let's see how the slaver behaves here. I think we are a little bit late on that, so I will wait for him to get up. I press the button.
Slaver. He's inspecting the prisoners like they're horses.
He might lead us to Taka.
Follow him.
Yeah, this part is you need to watch this guy, and if you press the watch button in a specific point, this guy is going to take a really long time to start his walk. So we need to wait until a specific point so he can start walking as fast as possible. Otherwise, you're going to lose time and he's going to get stuck watching slaves. That's why Ash did a pause there, so he can control how this guy was going to move.
You basically have to wait just about until he's just about to crouch down and inspect one of the slaves over there. If he's already inspecting one, you run the risk of having the dialogue that Jin and Yuna are having run until he actually got up again and is on his way to one of the next slaves. And for whatever reason, that screws with the AI, or rather with the script of this dude over here. And he just keeps going in circles between these 3 slaves, which is not exactly a soft lock, but it can just take a ludicrous amount of time for that guy to actually kind of remember what he is supposed to do, which is to get up and start walking around the town here. So at that point, you might as well just go ahead and reload the checkpoint and try again, which obviously loses you a bit of time. And obviously you don't want to have that happen, so I just waited a few seconds for him to actually get up so that I can then go ahead and survey him. Another thing that you want to do here is, even though we are pretty, out of sight of this guy, he can sometimes still hear us, and then he will just turn around and have a look if he can actually spot us. So obviously I don't want that to happen, so I will hang back just a little bit, just so I do not run the risk of him having to hear me and, turn around. However, for whatever reason, that doesn't always happen. Most of the time, if you are just this close to him and make a pretty loud sound like jumping down from here, he is still totally oblivious to it. So, again, the program there is a little bit wonky, I guess. But yeah, we will now listen to a short conversation between a few people here. And once this conversation has finished, we will actually come to the trick that Charlatan explained previously, which is the tumbleweed samurai. So we will just wait for the slaver to start walking again. And once he does, we are now supposed to sneak our way through this whole central area of the town, across all of these Mongols and whatnot. However, since we are out of sight, we can just start rolling. Just like that. None of these guys, will be ever the wiser. Which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. And it's really useful. I mean, when I explain this on my stream, I know that at least one of my viewers used this in his normal playthrough because it's so freaking good. I mean, doing stealth part fast like this, it do the game a lot, and it's also useful in Legends. So if you guys play Legends, you can use that as well. You don't have stealth on Legends, but you can just go out of the sight of an enemy and do a silent kill.
There's a gate nearby. Then that's where we break out.
Yeah, it basically allows us to skip any and all stealth sections that the game throws at us, which of course saves quite a bit of time over the course of the run, and it works in every situation that you come across, which is also really nice. So yeah, just use the setup that Charlatan described and go ahead and skip all these stealth sections of the game if you want to, if you're so inclined.
And here we have a long run, and it is a really nice thing that I like to explain here in this part. So Jin has actually a stamina bar. He can sprint forever, but the games, as you can see, it doesn't tell you, okay, so you have this amount of, like, this blue bar that run out of stamina, for example. But if you look carefully at Jin's head, when he's getting tired, his head drops a little bit. So when that happens, Aeshmah can do a dodge, and that replenish his stamina, and he can get sprinting. But this is a really nice touch of how you get the clues of the power, in this case, of the stamina, or with a visual cue instead of a bar in game. That's really cool.
I mean, just imagine if it worked like that in games like, I don't know, Dark Souls or whatever, where if you were to run out of stamina because you've been attacking so much, you would just do a dodge roll, and all of a sudden your whole stamina would be back. I mean, that would be ludicrous. But for whatever reason, it is how this game is programmed, so yay for us. Yay for endless stamina, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, it only worked for running, I mean.
I think we're clear.
We need to figure out where to go next.
So this is another one of these walkie-talkie sections, as I like to call them, where you're just having a ride and a chat with some of your allies. Those are really slow because all of your movement is actually slowed down. The game does not allow you to run or move any faster. However, they kind of forgot to include jumping in that equation. So while you cannot run, you can still jump at normal speed. And that is why we are gonna jump up this hill basically like a monkey. To make our allies come up here a little bit faster, saving a little bit of time in the process, so we can actually come up here before the dialogue actually finishes properly.
It's just over that bridge.
Yeah, there is a lot of places where getting out of your horse and jumping or just jumping is the faster movement that we can do, because sprinting is blocked for some reason. I mean, the reason is that the game wants you to hear the story, but we're gonna... Sadly, that's the fastest that we can do.
I mean, who has time for story, right? You want to speedrun, you go fast. Like, you can't just hang around, listen to these people talk all day.
So now there is a pretty long ride through the Krishi grasslands. This is a really nice field of this grass, this white grass. And as you can see, Aeshmah is picking some darts. So again, this is New Game Plus. We have the blowgun, which is a weapon that we get later. The bad thing about the blowgun is that if you use it, for example, in your normal playthrough, you get a flashback. And that flashback, you can't skip it. So if you, for example, use that here, you're going to lose time because you're going to get an extra cutscene. But in New Game Plus, we actually need to do the quest that give you the blowgun. So we discovered that if you use the blowgun before that quest, the cutscene is not going to trigger. So Aeshmah is picking some darts, poison darts, to be specific, because they are really powerful. So you can basically kill one shot a leader or every enemy with these darts. So we're going to pick some and we're going to use them just before these quests happen, so we can one-shot a lot of enemies, and we are targeting specifically leaders because obviously they are more hard to kill. So that's why Aeshmah was like going here and there picking these purple flowers.
Kill them all.
So here we're having another scuffle with these Mongols. You do want to do the standoff against the enemies, kill that archer, and then fire an explosive arrow against that hornet nest right here, which should get rid of most of the enemies up here. We may have to do a little bit of cleanup. That dude actually stick around, but yeah, that's actually the whole battle already.
That was really good.
And there you can kind of see, you know, coming all of our tools and our charms and upgrades are not like coming together. Like if you kept count of how many enemies they actually had to fight, and how many of those actually started running or because of other things, you can see how this allows us to go really fast, because you just don't have to chase down every single enemy. You can just, you know, kill about half of them and the other half will just leave the battle, and allow us to go fast.
Yeah, and here we meet Ryuzo. He is a friend of Jin from childhood, and he's running, and he's all about food. All his group, the Straw Hat running. Obviously, they are also like victims of the war, so they don't have any food, and they just want to survive at this point. So Jin is going to help him to get some food for his men. And Ryuzo, as you can see, is a really friendly character. He's friend of Jin, so obviously he's going to help him to defeat the Khan.
And like a running meme in the community is like to finally please give Ryuzo a burger, so he finally can have some food, man. The guy is starving, for crying out loud, you know, give him some food. Be a bit nice to Ryuzo, he deserves it. He's such a good
That'd
friend.
have been easy
He
keeping
would
the
never
Straw
ever
Hats
betray
together
us
for Komodo
because of a
Beaches.
burger
No,
How did you do
or a
that?
rice patty or whatever, right?
rice patty should be nice for him.
How many men do you have?
Yeah, so here we are going to go to the straw hat running like hideout, and we're gonna get another armor that we are not going to use. We are really ungrateful in this run. I mean, everybody give us armors and we don't use it at all. And yeah, I mean, the whole point here is to know that these guys are hungry.
So in this part, we're gonna have a little bit of a race against Ryuzo to one of these rock formations and see who of us can squeeze through that first. Is it me, and I will save a bit of time? Or is it Ryuzo, and I will lose a bit of time? And I beat him. Take that. I'm the number one around here, dude. But yeah, we get the Ronin attire in this box over here. Again, it is actually not a bad piece of armor. It would increase our damage output as well, but as before, the ghost armor is just way too useful in normal battles. So we will just immediately switch back to the ghost armor to be able to terrify our enemies and drive them before us.
Yeah, and well, the next quest it's called it's the Dale of Ryuzo, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We're gonna go to Mongol camp because the one of the peasants there told us that they might have food here, so we're gonna go and try to find some rice for these guys, and we're going to pick a bomb here in the road. Another piece of equipment that is really OP here is the smoke bombs. So smoke bombs have the power of obviously like hide Jin from enemies, but the way of the game thinking about that is really useful for us because it will recognize that you are like out of sight of the enemies. So for example, if you have to investigate something and you can be on combat, you can just go there and then use a smoke bomb, and even though you are surrounded by enemies, because you are in the middle of the smoke bomb, the game is going to record that like you are alone. There is nobody here. So we are going to pick some smoke bombs here and there and exploit this game mechanic for our advantage.
It's actually a thing that we have been starting to implement more and more into the run. I think exactly Charlatan was the one who came up with quite a few of those skips, pointing out to us like, guys, why are we not going to use a smoke bomb here? And the rest of us were like, oh yeah, why haven't we been doing that? It's like the totally obvious thing to do here. It's like you can just get totally lost in your strategies from time to time, so it's really nice to have a fresh pair of eyes to, have a look at the established speedrun strategies and come up with new stuff. So it's always nice to, see new runners pick up a game, try their hand at it.
Yeah, and guys, if you want to run Ghost of Tsushima, you can follow Aeshmah or go to speedrun.com, see our Discord. We are a really small community, like really small. I think right now there is 3 people probably running the game actively. The main game, Legends, is actually quite competitive. Those short runs are really fun to watch and it's really competitive. But yeah, I think as Aeshmah said, we as speedrunners, we get stuck in our own ways, and having a new pair of eyes, I think it's common in every community that somebody new appears, 2 or 3 skips like pop out of anywhere because more people watching the game give up more chance of finding stuff actually. So here, as you can see, Aeshmah threw a smoke bomb, a gunpowder bomb into the middle of that roll there, and yeah, that smoke bomb is, I keep saying smoke bomb, that gunpowder bomb is really powerful. We have some charms that let us bomb to have a more area of damage, and also the bomb catch enemies on fire, so fire as well terrified enemies. And we have another chat that if an enemy is on fire and bump with another enemy that isn't on fire, that guy is gonna get on fire. So yes, smoke bomb are really OP. It's the most broken thing in the game. We actually are going to see in a couple of minutes more, like the true useful nature of the gunpowder bombs. And here we're just researching some stuff for later. Because Tsushima has a lot of this stuff when you have to look and there is some dialogue happening. And here we're going to see the first, I think, use for the smoke bomb and how it can be useful on triggering prompts that you need to press without any enemies close.
It was a competition. You fought just as hard.
So what you're supposed to do here is you're supposed to, slowly make your way through this enemy encampment here so as not to alert anybody, because we are trying to hijack that little boat over there to get out to the big ships in the harbor. So the enemies are not supposed to see you here, otherwise they will aggro onto you and you cannot use the boat. However, you can just drop a smoke bomb here and still activate the trigger to hijack the small boat here. So that is one of the uses that we found to use the smoke bombs that way. And that will come into play like a couple more times during the course of the run. So, it's always important that we do have smoke bombs ready whenever a situation like that arises.
Yeah, and here in the boats, we are again looking for food. And this is really go here and investigate that. And you can see also like there is a lot of loot here, and this is actually a quite nice place to pick up some stuff because it's really scripted what the stuff that you get here, so it's a really nice place.
Greetings. Nice ship.
We have to move fast.
This is another Mongol who did not get scared away, even though I just blew up all his buddies. So we just take care of him manually. And then we will just crouch down here so we are safe from the enemy archers. Wait until all their buddies have come over from the other ship. And then throw a bomb at all of those guys and apparently die. Before the guy gets scared and runs away himself. Okay. Have it your way, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, if you threw a bomb to a group of Mongols, you have two options as a Mongol. You either get scared or you go and avenge your friends, so...
Yeah, fair enough, but why, dude? Couldn't you have just been scared a little bit sooner? But as you actually saw there, dying is not necessarily the end. You can use 3 points of resolve to actually instantly get up again. Resolve being these yellow orbs in the lower left corner. And those actually not only allow you to revive yourself, they are also used as a resource for your special attacks. So while you are free to, revive yourself when things should go awry, we actually do want to have a lot of resolve for the quote-unquote boss battles of the game. So we actually do have to manage that resource quite a bit at certain points in the game. But since the first boss fight / duel is still quite a ways out, I am okay to, revive myself at that point.
Yeah, and as you can see, you could see there, Aeshmah used the blowgun for that leader there. It wasn't a leader, it was just a big Mongol. And yeah, the good thing about the blowgun is that even though the enemy have a really long animation of death, like they start tumbling, throw puking blood, and go to the floor and stuff. Luckily for us, the game registered that enemy as dead as soon as the dart hit him, so that's really good. And yeah, that fight should be a little bit more longer. I mean, it doesn't save as much time. I think it's like maybe 4-5 seconds or something. But yeah, I mean, it's more consistent. You hit the guy with one dart and he's dead already. So that's really good.
I mean, that's like the thing with this particular speedrun. It's just like there aren't a lot of big skips where you can just save, you know, minutes of time or something like that. But there are just a lot of small skips, you know, that saves you about 5 seconds here, 10 seconds there, and those still add up over the course of a 3-hour run. So, you know, you do want to take those because they can add up to minutes at the end of it.
Fighting ahead.
Yeah, and as you can see there, now we are on Komatsu. Komatsu is the place in Tsushima with the best forge. So now that we rescue Taka, we are going to give him the opportunity to make some weapons for us in this forge here. But sadly for us, Komatsu is full of Mongols, so we need to go here and make some
Is that you?
cleanup. And one thing that Aeshmah did there as well was to move the camera and call the horse. So as every game, the horse always spawn out of camera. So you can kind of control where the mount is going to spawn. And
Wind up so different.
I have to say it, probably Ghost of Tsushima has the best horse in all the games. I mean, it spawn right next to you when you call it. It's going to be still next to you until you get on it. The controls are the same as Jin. You don't have to like press X or another button so the mount can sprint. The mount is just going to move as Jin, sprinting with L2 L3. So yeah, props to Sucker Punch, man. Mounts here are awesome.
I can hear the angry Horizon Zero Dawn runner speaking right now in a way.
Oh, don't get me started, man.
Because the mounts sure do behave a little bit different in that game compared to the horse that goes in Tsushima for sure, I think.
Yeah. Mounts, I also speedrun Horizon Zero Dawn, and mounts there are just the worst. They are the worst. I think that's the only reason why I speedrun Ghost of Tsushima.
Speedrun this game, it has better mounts. But then again,
might
you're
sound
riding
funny.
around like, you know, these robot dinosaur kind of things around in Horizon Zero Dawn, so yeah.
Follow my orders.
Also kind of nice, I guess.
Alright, now here in Komatsu we have to do like a treasure hunt thing. We need to activate the forge, but Taka doesn't have his
Don't look at it.
helper. We rescue the helper, but the helper needs his wife. So we need to go and save his wife. And now Aeshmah is going to save his wife, and his wife has people that need rescue. So this is going here and there, saving people, so Taka can make the weapon that we need for entering Castle Canada.
You know, it's a bit like Pokemon, you know, you gotta collect all the peasants and stuff before you're able to progress the story, so maybe they took a bit of a inspiration from that, I don't know.
We're going to the forge.
Well, just a lot of people that you have to rescue around here. I think, like, this was one of the my most or least favorite quests in the game for me, casually, just because you just have to run all around town trying to find all these people the first time if you don't know where they are. And there are quite a lot of them, actually. So it's just a lot of back and forth, you know, finding these survivors, bringing them back to the forge, venturing out again, finding the next batch, and so on and so forth. And it got a bit boring for me doing this casually, but doing it in a speedrun, like, puts a whole another dynamic to it. Just, you know where the people are, you know how to circumvent the fights on the way there, or how to make this and that go a little bit quicker, so it's a little bit more involved in a way, I want to say. And of course there is a big payoff fight at the end, which is like really fun to do. So let's see when we get to that.
Yeah. So this is the last. Wait. Oh yeah, this is the last group of people that we need to rescue. Yuna is there, but we actually don't need to talk to her. And this is the last part before the big Komatsu fight. That is my least favorite part of the game, if you ask me. The enemy spawns are really scripted, but as it is a big fight, so it's kind of chaotic because you can't control how many enemies are gonna get terrified. It can go like really badly, really quickly. But yeah, this is basically like Jin telling Taka to lead up the
Forge.
forge, so the Mongols can go here and we can kill them all from once, and use the forge for making the weapon that we need for entering Castle Canada.
So basically, Jin is just tired of running around collecting all these people. So he's just like, light the forge, and the smoke will just attract all of the Mongols, so we can have one big fight and just get rid of all of them at once.
Thank the gods.
And that is exactly what we're gonna do here. So at first we're gonna deal with a bunch of Mongols just straight up walking up to the forge by going ahead and throwing a bomb at them. After which we will have to deal with some Mongols who will come down from a cliff, which we'll do by lighting our sword on fire. And after that we will have to kill 2 enemies who are inside the forge with shields, followed by a spear guy, followed by some archers, followed by some more Mongols, and then the big commander at the end.
Yeah, and again, for the commander, we are going to try to use the poison dart because, as we said, it's one insta kill when you use that.
the forge. We have to stop them.
So that's what the first wave. Second wave is these guys coming here. Then another enemies is going to spawn with some doggies. Doggies in Ghost of Tsushima are the worst. They have some really weird hitboxes, but they also can get scared. That's really fun. So we also are hearing like some auditive clues, that dialogue that we know that mean that the next wave spawn. And this is the semi-last wave. We use a bomb there, and after this wave, the leader should spawn.
Taking a little bit slow because we are low on health.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the doggy.
Okay, got him.
Okay, that's the leader.
And for some reason that dude was like all the way behind there. I have never seen him spawn that far from the battlefield. Now luckily he did get scared because the commander died, so I didn't have to go and track him down. But I have never seen him being that far away, so I guess that never happened before.
That's a clean fight, nevertheless.
Yeah. Could have been a little bit faster, but for sadly the guy in the forge actually hit me with his shield because I wasn't quick enough to dodge there. So I was a little bit low on health. Remember, this is on lethal difficulty, which is the highest difficulty. Most of the time a single hit can kill you, sometimes it takes 2. And I kinda wanna have an eye out of my resolve here, so I didn't want to have to revive myself. And that is why I took this a little bit slower, just a little bit safer, but yeah, still got enough time, I guess.
Let's see how it's coming along.
Yeah, every at the end of each act, we're gonna have like a
Save your uncle.
mini boss fight,
Any luck?
and yeah, we want a resolve because with resolve full, those boss fights are really scripted
Archer.
and really fast. They are crazy fast.
That's enough.
So we need a resolve for the boss fights.
Well.
It's actually a bit of a shame because, I think like the duels, I personally, I really like to do the duels because there are these really awesome one-on-one sword fights that you're gonna do. You're gonna really show off your skill, how much you have mastered the game mechanics. However, they are slow, to do normally, so we opt to, well, not exactly cheat, but use all of our resources that we have at disposal to make them go over really fast. And that is why you will see only very little of the actual sword fighting in this game. Also, Ryuzo is back and he is still hungry, so does anybody have a burger for Ryuzo? Like, anybody? Or some money for charity, I don't know. Something like that.
Right, so this quest here is kinda the tutorial for the new thing that we got. This is like a iron hook. It's like a grapple thing that we can throw and like climb spots. Yeah, we are going to go to this fort here when Ryuzo's men are captive, and yeah, this is the quest is called the iron hook because it's basically the tutorial for it. And here again, we need to go out of our horse and start jumping because going into the horse with that dialogue happening is really slow. So we're going to be jumping here, and hopefully Ryuzo is going to be a little bit quicker so we can get into the quest as soon as possible.
Which is actually interesting because, yes, of course, we do want to go fast, this being a speedrun and all. However, you don't want to go too fast because, you know, you are supposed to slowly walk along this path with Ryuzo on your horse. And since we are jumping around here and are actually faster than the NPCs, what can happen is you can get too far ahead of them. At what point they will just stop dead in their tracks and, you know, wave you over until you're closer to them again. At which point they will start moving again. So they will just, you know, stand in place, wait for you to come near, and then move again, which of course is slow because at that point you're not moving and you're actually having to go back and pick them up again. So, you know, you kind of want to measure how far away you are from your friendly NPC ally here and just not leaving behind.
Yeah, it's that classic mechanic of baby NPC that they can't do anything alone and you need to go right there with them.
I mean, it fits Ryuzo, right?
Yeah. Yeah, even though he can clearly see you, you need to be closer so he can walk.
Like, dude, come over, I want to talk to you. Instead of coming over himself. But yeah, what's happening here is that Ryuzo and his men were trying to get some food by themselves, trying to raid some Mongol supply lines. However, it didn't quite work out as planned, so a lot of Ryuzo's men actually got captured. And Ryuzo, being the dude that he is, now comes to us for help to see if we can free his men together. And we, being the goody two-shoes that we are, of course agree to help him with his problem. So we will ride to Fort Yatate and see if we can actually go ahead and rescue these guys.
Yeah, this is a really nice place. We're gonna see a really good show at the end of this fight. But yeah, as I said, this is the tutorial for the iron hook. Here we have another walkie-talkie section where we need to get out of the horse and do the jumping. And yeah, so there is an interesting mechanic here that we need to rescue the straw hat running. They are here, and they are in cages. So one thing that apparently not many people know is that the cages, they have a prompt so you can open them. It's really slow because it's like Jin picking the lock basically. You can actually go and slash the door right away with the sword, so that we're going to see that in a minute.
Also, an interesting thing to note is that, you know, all these Straw Hat Ronin have been captured. They have been locked in cages. However, apparently as soon as you rescue them, they have their weapons ready at disposal. So apparently they haven't actually been disarmed, even though they are captives. So I don't know, man. Like, isn't it common sense that if you capture somebody, you're actually inclined to disarm them? I mean, to be fair, they are in an enemy encampment. There's not a lot they could do with their weapons anyway, but still? I don't know. I wouldn't risk that. A little bit of a superiority complex going on with the Mongols here or something. I don't know. I'm not a military tactician.
Yeah, and I mean, in lethal, Aeshmah was talking about the difference between like easy and lethal. I mean, the two polar opposites on difficulties. And in lethal, the NPCs also deliver more damage. So, in difference between easy and lethal, in easy it's really hard for the NPCs to kill enemies. They are useless. You can't trust them with anything. The other day I was doing one, and it was like 6 running against one Mongol, and they did nothing to him. But on lethal, they can actually, because they deliver more damage, they can actually do things.
Yeah, the NPC allies are actually helping on higher difficulties. Imagine that. But yeah, we'll
Okay, so
just
this
go.
is-
Yeah, go ahead. I'll just take care of the things.
Yeah, this is really scripted thing. We are going to silent kill these guys. And as you can see, Aeshmah there hit that light with fire, and Ghost of Tsushima has actually a lot of stuff like that, like environmental stuff that you can use for the run and for the general playthrough, like hornet's nests and like explosive barrels and fire and stuff. And now we free all the runnings, and now we have to do the cleanup.
Dude! Okay. Let's take care of somebody else then.
Yeah, that was a lucky.
So you have to
Aeshmah-
kill that leader, however he is wedged in between there. Making it really hard to go ahead and hit him.
Yeah, Aeshmah was trying to kill the leader with the blowgun, but there you go. But sadly, yeah, NPCs get in the ways. We don't like that.
So coming up is actually my favorite bomb throw in the whole game. Because the plan here is we will wedge the Mongols between Ryu's attacking forces from the front gate and us attacking them from the back. What we will do, however, is we will just hang out until everybody has gathered around Ryuzo. And then throw one bomb and have a bit of a Mongol barbecue all around. And if you're lucky, you can actually, you know, basically do this, where one bomb throw gets rid of like 20 Mongols or so. So, you know, it's a nice little thing to have.
Yeah, that was a really nice throw. So you can see how OP the black powder bombs are. In any percent, you will have to do this one by one with your sword. So you can really see the difference between New Game Plus and any percent. But it's really satisfying to use one bomb to kill everybody, I mean.
Alright, and with that, we are already on to the last quest of the first act. Now we have gathered all the allies that we can. So we are finally ready to assault Castle Kaneda and try and free our uncle. So this is like the big quest from Act 1. It is also the longest, the most difficult one. And we will have our first boss fight and stuff like that. So it's, you know, this really pivotal moment in the story where you try and, you know, finish the goal that the game set out to do in the beginning.
So in the prologue, we actually came here and tried to free Lord Chimura, but we did another approach to the battle. I mean, the whole Ghost of Tsushima thing is that Jin is trying to figure out if breaking the samurai code is worth it of saving the island. So Yuna, she was a thief, and Jin is kinda, well, at this point he's all in with the ghost ways. But yeah, he already raided this castle, and he went like with honor to the front door, and he actually went really really into the castle, but then he fight the Khan, and well, the prologue ends there. But now we are gonna take another approach, like the ghost approach, and we're gonna try to get kinda for the back door and surprise the enemies. So this is why we needed the iron hook, so we can do this thing and enter the castle for behind. We actually have the grappling hook at the beginning on Union Plus, but these whole things are not here when you try to go here before the quest. Yeah, we're gonna exploit all the things that we already mentioned. We're going to exploit the rolling in the dips. here so they can see us. And we are also gonna try to exploit like the explosive bombs and the fire arrows and all that stuff.
So this will go back and forth between us doing like small skirmishes with all the allies that we have gathered. Like we would just got rid of the alarm system that the Mongols had in place. Now we are going to fight a courtyard full of Mongols together with Masako. Because, you know, she likes to kill people. So she is set to help us out here.
Yeah, so basically all the quests that we did before with Masako and Lord Seisei Ishikawa is so they can be here with us, like raiding the castle, like gathering allies for that. And story-wise, Ryuzo should be here with all his men, but he actually didn't. I was did spawn. He actually didn't show up. So Jin is like, okay, Ryuzo failed me. Let's do this anyways.
Well, this is like a really nice point in the game where you just, you know, throw this bomb at this whole throng of Mongols here, where you just go ahead and assassinate the guy. I don't know, I just really like that fact. You know, it's a bit of multitasking going on there.
Yeah, and here is a really nice skip. We're gonna trigger the quest here, as you can see in the up there, the quest upgrading, and now we can just jump into here and grab this point. I love that skip. And this is going to be a full like backyard full of Mongols, and after that we are gonna get to our first boss fight in the game.
I could use Yuna's help.
So again, we are using the blowgun for killing the leader there. Leaders are they took a lot of time to kill, so it's really nice to use the poison dart and kill them with one shot. And we also are going to use a lot of fire, because we have a perk that if an enemy is on fire, it has more chances to scare another enemy. So fire is nice to use, so because it fires when you are using the blade with fire, they can't block you, and also has this thing where they get more scared.
Yuna, hold this area.
And now we go to our first fight. I wonder against who is going to be.
Spoilers! It's Ryuzo.
Yeah, and we're going to change outfit actually. We change outfit sometimes here, and this armor is pure damage based. So this armor, it has all the charms for damage, and we're gonna do this Dance of Wrath, which is ability that we gain by doing a side quest. And yeah, these battles normally have 3 cycles, and when they like use the sword, that's the cycle, and that was the fight. I mean, this is on lethal, so you can see what I said before, that it is really OP to do that. With 3 Dance of Wrath, that is actually done. It will be fun to do that normally, but yeah, we can really skip that whole fight with full result.
Yeah, you gotta keep in mind that each of these Dances of Wrath takes 3 resolve to use, and you can have a maximum of 10. So you really need a about fully maxed out resolve bar to be able to use 3 Dances of Wrath in a single duel. Meaning you have to have at least 9 resolve at your disposal to do that. Otherwise, you know, you have to fight the duels normally, which, well, will lose you time, because Dance of Wrath is just that much faster. But it also means that you are kind of required to do the fights leading up to a single duel more or less flawlessly, you know, not die or use a Dance of Wrath in those fights and whatnot, because then you would not have your full resolve bar for the duel. And again, that would lose you time there.
Yeah, and they just did a standoff there we actually know a way to avoid that standoff. Standoffs are really slow compared to like normal killing. I think Aeshmah don't necessarily do that normally, but because this is a marathon, we need the resolve just in case we die. We need 3 resolve for surviving. So like marathon safely is better to do that because each kill gives you a lot of resolve. So yeah, but we normally don't do that standoff because it's really slow.
Well, like I said, you know, RNG has not been my friend for this whole weekend, so I may be forgiven if I take things a little bit slower here and there. Just for the sake of a little bit more safety.
Yeah, there is some checkpoints that can be really unforgiving here. So if you die in the wrong place, it could be a big loss.
For the fallen warriors of Tsushima, Aegis assemble. Let no one retreat.
And thankfully all these Mongols, you know, they just line up perfectly so you can get rid of all of them with a single bomb throw. And with that, we are actually at the end of the first act of the game. Already, you know, about 1/3 into the whole thing. So let's see how Act 2 and 3 will actually go.
Yeah, the whole map of Tsushima is divided in 3 parts. The part that we just left is Isuhara. The second part is where we're going to be now is Toyotama. And you can actually go from from Isuhara to Toyotama without doing the fall thing. So that's really sad because that is, I think, is what
Good luck with your uncle.
wasn't allow us to like create more categories, for example, because we would love to have like Norio % or Lady Masako %, so you can do the whole storyline in one go, but the whole map is closed, so we can we are trying to think like how to get more categories, but the fact that the map is closed, it doesn't give us as much options.
I can do a lot with this.
So this is where we will do our first shopping in the run, and that is actually something that I will continue to do from now on, because the vendors are actually conveniently placed along our path from now on in like every village that we will come across. So we actually do have the opportunity to actually do these shopping trips without having to go like ludicrous amounts of time out of our way. And from this point onward, yeah, there will be lots of explosions happening like all over the island as we are finally able to channel our inner Michael Bay and just explode everything that we want to explode.
Yeah, Michael Bay will love this speedrun.
I mean, the speedrun is basically, you know, Ghost of Tsushima directed by Michael Bay. I guess that's really a thing. Then again, I think it does have way too much story to be considered a Michael Bay film, doesn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, Act 1 in that manner is really like optimized because you only rely on drops. So you need to be like, okay, so how many things I have here? We have like a route when you actually go and buy stuff in Act 1, but as I said, we can shop as least as possible because obviously it's lose time. But yeah, in Act 2 and Act 3, the merchant is actually quite close to you, so we are going to be shopping quite a lot here from now on. And this is another like really silly part where you very disrespectfully, if you ask me, are jumping around while Lord Shimura is talking you all this silly stuff. And we need to go to the second part. We are trying to gain terrain against the Mongols. And as you can see, Jin here jumping through a cemetery. I mean, how disrespectful is this, man?
I mean, can you just imagine like people like all happy dappy jumping all over a graveyard? Like, I mean, yeah, not trying to judge characters here, but I would say those people are a little bit on the crazy side.
past cannot hurt you, Jin.
Yeah, and here there's actually like a line that we know that we can already call our horse and go full speed with it. Because that's the thing with those jumpy sections.
You smell that? Burning
You
wood.
can't ride at full speed. That's the whole thing that is the problem. But now that we can do that, we can just go into the next fight before we can start Act 2.
Without them, we won't survive the winter.
I'll see it done.
What have they done?
So there is a Mongol patrol here that we need to take down first. And we're going to use these explosive arrows a lot. They have a lot of... They can travel a lot of distance. And they're really, really powerful as well.
Khan's wolves, sent north to
And let's
ravage
see. This is also like RNG. Enemies can... Oh, that was really good.
Yep,
Really,
I
really
was really happy with that. Like, you know, some of the Mongols might not get scared and run all over the place, and you also have to wait for Lord Shimura to climb up on his horse again, should he have dismounted to try and fight these guys, so you can't just lose oodles amount of time there, just by people not behaving the way they are supposed to.
Yeah, and this is Fort Ito. We need to enter this fort and destroy the alarm that they have. And then also kill all the enemies. And in this, we're trying to like lower the morale of the Mongol army at this point. Lord Shimura is already in our side, so we have like more people that can be useful here to the fight. And this is going to be like the gate for the whole Toyotama area. So we need to kill everyone here. Let's see. There is one guy alive, I think. Two guys alive. Three.
God.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, you can't control where they're going to be.
Oh, come on, dude. Are you?
Let's see.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate that that guy didn't run away as well. So that's definitely a bit of a time loss there. Because these guys just did not want to leave the battlefield,
We can use that against them.
as we expected them to.
Yeah, and as you can see, it takes 3 resolves to revive yourself. But I mean, we have that, and we are going to use that because on lethal, it's really deadly.
You're ready to
The
fight.
Mongols are really deadly. All right.
And since we don't have another duel coming up for a while, we are of course free to use the resolve that we have. So, you know, not a lot of time lost there or anything. Of course, every time you do get, well, quote-unquote, killed, you lose a bit of time because Jin, like, very slowly falls to the ground and it takes you a little while to get back up again. But it's still better than having to reload a checkpoint and having to do that fight all over again, for sure.
Speak your mind, and leave us to it.
So I just
Yeah,
want to interject a little bit here. Just wanted to let everybody know that we do still have a bid war for the spare or kill for Lord Shimura, and it does look like killing Lord is actually on winning at this moment. And then I also wanted to throw in that we do have another one coming up for the following game that we have coming up, which is Metal Gear Solid. And right now it's 50-50. It's really hard whether to save Otakon or Meryl. So just bringing that in. So if everybody thinks about that, maybe donate a little bit, and hopefully, if you can spare it, for a really, really great cause.
Definitely go ahead and do that. Also, you know, we just heard it. We have a bid war going on for sparing or killing Lord Shimura. Now, why would we do that? I mean, he's our honorable uncle, so, you know, mystery. Also, here's Norio. Norio is our new best friend forever. Like, he is the most lovable character you will ever see. He will instantly replace Ryuzo in our hearts. You know, Ryuzo just wanted burgers too much. So he betrayed us for burgers, basically. Norio will never do that. he's just here, chilling out. And also, we'll probably never see him again because we will just call for our horse and leave him behind. Because we will be able, or rather the dialogue will finish before the dialogue that, before the timer that runs down if we leave him. We'll just have no chance of reaching 0 before the dialogue finishes, so we can just be continuing on our merry way here.
Yeah, and again, really disrespectfully, we are just gonna leave Norio talking alone, and we're gonna no, bro, we're gonna go. And by the way, I mean, you guys didn't see the cutscene, but Ryuso is alive, by the way. So you can't see that in because we skipped the cutscene, but we actually defeat Ryuso, but he is still alive, but we don't know where he is.
Probably eating burgers to heal himself, you know. I mean, if you can like chuck down a whole wheel of cheese in games like Skyrim or something, he's probably just, you know, hanging out at the recent McDonald's or something somewhere on the island, or the Mongol Donald. I don't know, you know, a place where you can get burgers, a Mongol grill or whatever, something like that.
So now, as you can see in the screen, you have that line that says Isuhara is under attack, and that means, I mean that represents that if you open the map right now, you're gonna get a really beautiful cutscene in slow motion, like showing you all the places where the Mongols are attacking Isuhara, which is the area that we leave behind. So you don't have to open the map right now or the menu because you're gonna get that cutscene. We're gonna go here. This is Akashima village. This village is actually really useful in the normal playthrough. I mean, this is the first spot that you have. There's a lot of quests here, but we're gonna go just going here so we can then fast travel to this point. This is like a local fast travel point. And we're gonna go to Old Yarikawa. So the island of Tsushima in this point is ruled by the Jito, which is again ruling by the Shogunate. So there is a lot of this Yarikawa place. They didn't like Lord Shimura as much, so they actually have like a little like civil war between the Yarikawa people and Lord Shimura, which is the Jito of the whole island. So one thing that we need to do now is try to convince these people on Yarikawa that join Lord Shimura, so the whole island have a chance against the Mongols. So we are riding to Old Yarikawa, which is like the ruins of the civil war, and see if we can actually recruit the Yarikawa people to our cause, which is again defeating the Mongol army invasion.
I mean, you have to keep in mind, you know, we are going up against a army, like Charlton just said. So in order to do that, of course, we need an army of our own. So we need many people. And as we learned, the Mongols are using Castle Shimura, you know, the Jito's castle, as their main staging point at this point, and it being the largest castle on the island of Tsushima, we of course need a lot of manpower to be able to, you know, attack it. So once again, we'll be trying to recruit as many people as we can during the second act of the game, starting with the people of Yarikawa. And of course, you know, because of all that civil war thing going on a few years back, they are not exactly the most trustful people to us, especially since we are a relative of Lord Shimura. So let's see how we can maybe manage to gain their trust anyway, because, you know, we need to rally our people, even if we do have misunderstandings and stuff like that, because none of us will be able to survive this war on our own.
Yeah, that's the classic situation where a bigger evil bring people together that hate themselves. I mean, not themselves, each other.
Now, lucky for us, both Yuna and Taka are originally from Yarikawa, so they are coming with us to go there and see if they may be able to mend the relationship between us. So, yeah, let's see if we can make something like that happen.
Something like that.
Yeah, the city of Yarikawa is actually not invaded yet by Mongols. They have like a really nice city surrounded by walls. So, unlucky for them, the Mongols are recruiting outside the walls of Yarikawa. So they are like under siege, or they are like trapped there, surrounded by Mongols. So we now need to find a way to enter Yarikawa without being spotted. And because Yuna and Taka used to live here, they have like a secret entrance that we can use.
And where would that mysterious secret entrance be but behind a waterfall? Right? I mean, that's just box standard at this point. You have to have a secret cave or whatever during a video game. It's like the law. The law!
We just have to find a way.
Yeah, and there you could not see it, but we actually skip a dialogue there by looking at the camp first. If you are fast enough, you can skip one dialogue there. And again, it's like, I don't know, like 5 seconds, but as I said at the beginning, those 5 seconds add up with all the other 5 seconds that we save here and there and make the run like shorter and shorter. And here we are going to again use the tumbleweed samurai so we can just go through here without being spotted. If you will do this in the normal playthrough, this is really slow because you need to be like carefully going from height to height, but we can just go here and YOLO this whole path.
And here we are beneath the waterfall, where we can just, you know, squeeze between some rocks and enter the town of Yarikawa without anybody noticing.
Yeah, and the trick coming up is really, really fun to see. So in the next part, we can sprint and we can run. I mean, we can sprint and we can jump. We can do anything. So we are going to do the dance of wrath to walk as fast as we can. And this attack has an animation that we can cancel if we aim our bow. And now we are gonna go into the door, and if we climb this ladder and jump into the place where the cutscene is going to take place, we are going to trigger this cutscene early, and this whole trick saves around 11-12 seconds, because we don't need to wait for the for the cutscene to start.
Lord Shimura won't get his army.
Don't worry. They're too stubborn to
I mean, obviously, you are not supposed to, you know, just jump in front of the city gates and duel it out with the enemy general. However, if we were able to do that, my god, this would be over so quickly. But no, we have to go through the whole siege thing here.
easier said than done.
Yeah.
Ujima-san knows you're here. You two go ahead.
And now we met Ujimasa, which is the leader of this city, and Jin now realized that it seems like even though the clan Shimura defeat the Yarikawa people, they didn't recognize that, and they have like their own thing happening anyways.
Nothing will. Taka used to visit this swordsmith every day. If there was any leftover metal, he'd let my brother.
I just have to wait for the dialogue to finish here. Taka getting a few informational blurbs from the locals about what is happening. And what is actually happening is that the people of Yarikawa are missing their best archers because they have left to venture outside of the city and try to pick off a few Mongols here and there. However, they haven't returned in quite a while, so it falls to us to have a look at that.
Yeah, so in that cutscene, Ujimasa said that he's not going to help us because, I mean, we are Shimura after all. But in every game, you need to do some quests so that you can gain the trust of some people. And in this case, this quest is called the Coward of Yarikawa, and it's basically saved a bunch of archers from the Mongols that they got captured. And here is going to be like a little bit of a fight against one of the scariest enemies in the island.
For sure. Like, I am trembling with fear already. Like, how can we ever slay this beast?
Wasn't us.
Arrow wounds. Where are the arrows?
Pulled out.
But yeah, first of all, we have to look at a few more dead Mongols. You know, we are slowly starting to pick up the trail of these Yarikawa archers. So we will follow this lead and see if we can find them somewhere here in the old city ruins of Yarikawa.
Do you remember why we came here to catch crickets? No. To get you away from our mother. When she was angry and looking for someone to blame, crickets kept you busy.
Yeah, the next part is a lot of investigation, and there's a little skip here that says probably like 2 seconds, which is that we are going to trigger a dialogue from Yuna, and then investigate a barrel, and that's going to overlap the dialogue from Yuna, and we can skip. There you go, that beast is dead, and we can actually like skip a part of the dialogue and save like 2 seconds or something.
The archers must have been here.
Jin, Taka, I found.
They stole the Mongols' explosive barrels.
I like these archers.
Tracks here.
Yeah, so we are gonna find the Mongol archers, not the Mongol archers, the Yarikawa archers, like finally down here, and for some reason they actually, you know, approaching a specific spot, all crouching like and stuff, but we don't care. We will just run in the same direction that they are slowly approaching, because we are just that awesome, I suppose. Something like that. Whatever.
Get over here.
Get over here! He said the thing. He said the thing!
Let's have a look at that cap.
Anybody up for some Mortal Kombat?
Your archers.
Maybe? Eventually?
The sooner we free them, the better.
But yeah, as it so happens, some of these archers have of course been captured by the Mongols, so once again it falls to us to try and free them. And what happens is one of the most chaotic fights in the game, I want to say. We will start up with shooting these explosive barrels, which will attract the enemies a little bit faster, and then just hitting the big explosive over there. And from that point forward, it's just, you know, trying to make the best of the situation over here. Trying to hit all the enemies as fast as we can, because they will spawn all over the place here. So you really have to be a bit on your toes, see where they're coming from.
Yeah, this fight is really weird. In my eyes, at least, it seems like the enemies can spawn from 3 different places, and the amount of leaders either is RNG from 1 to 3, or some Yarikawa people can actually kill leaders in this thing, because I have had like a lot of different spawns of leaders and amount of enemies spawning from different places. But yeah, this is kinda chaotic fight.
No, we are missing somebody. Who are you missing? Huh. What are you guys doing up there?
Yeah, this is the thing that I was saying.
They were just having a stare down or whatever, you know. Whoever blinks first is the loser or whatnot.
Good work, Daikoku.
Yeah, why that guy is over there? I mean,
they weren't even doing anything. They were just looking at each other's eyes. Like, I don't know if that was love at first sight or whatever. But stop doing it. Kill each other. This is war, not love. We got no time for love. Mushy stories, this is not. Hey, hey, hey.
yeah, that fight is a mess. But it's all done now.
Yeah, that never happened before. Well, it kinda has, but never like this obviously, where, you know, multiple archers and that one sword guy were just looking at each other, daring each other to blink or something.
Thank you.
So, yeah, that was kinda strange.
Just for you.
Yeah, and now we start, if you ask me, the coolest quest in the game. It's called the Ghost of Yarikawa. We're gonna get a really nice ability here in the normal playthrough. We already have that because, again, this is New Game Plus. But we're gonna see actually a lot of fun stuff here. The first of them is, well, we're gonna go up there and talk to Yuna so we know what's going on. And then we're going to... Sadly, the Mongols are going to start attacking the city. So now that we are here and we have the these archers that we rescue are our friends. We're going to try all together to save the siege against Yerikawa, and we can actually call a horse inside here and going faster into the front of the gate for the fight. And this is again a really scripted fight. Enemies are going to spawn in this door, and there they are going to spawn in the right door, and there the fight is actually quite fast. Once we are there, they spawn in waves here, and you can see the really powerful explosive arrows here doing their work. And as soon as the quest update, we can go here and use a smoke bomb for these guys that are entering, and we're gonna just kill the enemies before they even attempt to enter the city.
Alright, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
So yeah, all it takes is about 3 explosive arrows and 3 black powder bombs to basically take care of an invasion. So, you know, everybody could have done that.
Destroy those siege weapons.
Yeah, and here again we're gonna see another use for the smoke bombs. So we have some catapults or trebuchets. I really know the difference. I really don't know the difference between them. And we actually need to go like stealthy and kill everybody up there so we can destroy the catapults. But again, we're going to exploit our good friends, our smoke bombs. And we actually can go here through a smoke bomb next to the trebuchet, and we can destroy it. So the game, you're not supposed to be doing this in this way. So in the next cutscene, there is actually all the Mongols are there with you, like looking at you, but they're supposed to be all dead because you're not supposed to be able to destroy this thing without with people there.
I thought like totally confused, like what the heck is going on? Why was he able to destroy these things even though we're still around? But yeah, it's just, you know, another use of the smoke bombs that actually makes you leave a battle phase, so to speak, and that is why you can interact with these objects, because normally when you are in a battle you wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. And again, here we now go to the main castle of the city, and Aeshmah is going to change outfits so you can predict what's going to happen. We have here another mini boss fight against General Temuge, which is the leader of the invasion.
Yeah, he's the guy that we quote unquote could have killed when we first came to Yerikawa, when we jumped outside the town, if the game would have allowed us to do so. And obviously it did not, so we could have saved a lot of bloodshed, but no, we just have to do this duel against him now.
And again, as you can see, Dance of Wrath is the way to go here. You want all your results, so you can do this 3 times and then do more strikes, like 2 more strikes, so you can trigger the next cycle. And yeah, that's all with the Muge. And now you get the Ghost Dance. So the Ghost Dance lets you kill 3 enemies like right away. Doesn't matter what type they are. And yeah, this is where Jin became the ghost, like fully ghost. And he started like using terror for the enemies. So as you can see here, because we are now the ghost, all the enemies are running from Jin. And please cue the music. This music is awesome.
I think this is one of the most favorite quests from a lot of people that played the game, because if you're just playing this casually, you have this huge setup of everything that's happening with the siege that you are breaking and all these people fighting all around you, and you fighting the general and becoming the ghost and whatnot. It's a really pivotal moment in the game's story for sure.
And yeah, so in the cutscene that we just skipped, all the people of Yerikawa say, okay, so the ghost is really cool, so we're going to join him. So now we just complete the one of the goals of Act 2, which is like recruiting the people of Yerikawa so they can join the army and go against the Mongols.
Now on the flip side, now we've had all these actions surrounding the town of Arikawa, we are gonna go into a little bit of a lull of the run, I want to say, because the quest we're gonna do now is Ghosts from the Past. Now Ghosts from the Past serves basically three purposes. The first is, of course, advancing the main story, because you have to do this quest, as you are tasked with retrieving your family's armor. Like so far, we've been wearing all kinds of different armor, but not the Sakai armor, which is Jin's family armor. Except, we are wearing it right now. So, because this is New Game Plus, we of course start with all the armors we have collected, including the Sakai armor. So, there's technically no reason to get it again. And the third reason is we are also able to get the blow dart during that quest, which we also have. So, yeah. Can somebody please tell somebody that we technically don't have to do that because we have everything we could get out of that quest already? So we can just skip it, please.
Yeah. So, obviously in this quest, also, after this quest, we can't use the blowgun.
Yeah.
Because if we use it, we are going to trigger that cutscene that we were talking before, and that's obviously really, really slow. There is actually a lot of things that trigger cutscenes that we want to avoid. One of them is obviously using the blowgun after this quest, but another one is using the silent kill from above. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of chances of doing that in the run, but that actually triggered another cutscene that is unskippable, so we lose time. But we all runners can say that we have done that by mistake in any run. I mean, we all have done that.
You're just, crouched upon this roof or whatever you are, and you see this enemy below you, and you just, this big juicy button trigger, press me, assassinate that guy, get rid of him. And you're just so tempted to do it. But if you give in to the temptation, you are treated with a, 20-second unskippable cutscene for your effort. So it's just definitely not a thing that you should do. Now, on the flip side, once you have seen this cutscene once, it won't trigger again on subsequent air assassinations or uses of the blowgun or whatever. So you are actually free to just go ahead and use those techniques from that point onward. But we don't actually need to use them. We have other tools in our arsenal that we could use instead that are just about as effective. It's just that, God, sometimes you just want to, jump down from the roof and stab somebody with your katana really hard, and the game just does not want you to do that in a way.
Yeah, we are now arriving Omi village, which is actually the hometown of Jin Sakai. And this is a really nice, really good looking place. And we're gonna meet Yuriko, which is the character that is going to tell us how to use poison. And yeah, this quest it doesn't have as much fights. It had only one fight that we're gonna see later, but it's a really short one. But yeah, the whole point of this quest is getting the armor and also getting the blowgun. And as you can see, we do this in this part because we have the Sakai armor after the duel against Temuge. So in the cutscene that is close to the end of this quest, you put the outfit. So we have an option on Ghost of Tsushima that lets you that every set of armor can have different set of charms. So if you have for example, another armor on when entering that cutscene, the Sakai armor is going to take those same charms. So as we said before, the Sakai armor is made for damage. So if we have, for example, the Ghost armor on, then when we wear the Sakai armor, it's going to have the charms for the Ghost armor. So that's one of the points that we came here with this armor on, so we don't get our charms messed up in the different armors.
Another point is, you just saw me do this walkie-talkie section with Yuriko just now. And mysteriously, I was not jumping along to try and make her hurry. And that is actually because Yuriko is one of the only NPCs in the game where, those fast youngster techniques actually do not work on. She will only ever walk at her own pace. There is nothing you can do to hurry her along. So, you just have to slowly walk beside her and listen to her tales of whatever she's gonna whatever she wants you to tell. So yeah, nothing you can do about it. I mean, having said that, you can opt to push her along, repeatedly bumping into her from behind to, nudge her along just a little bit quicker. It saves about, I don't know, a second or so. So yes, there is potential for a little bit of a time save, but so far I have not been, convinced to become a granny pusher. And I don't know if that will ever change or not, but so far I was able to resist to become that.
Yeah, and as you can see, Aeshmah did some speedrun of some poetry there. There is 2 mandatory haikus that you need to do for the speedrun. This is one of them. And yeah, if you have played Ghost of Tsushima, you know the whole haiku mechanic. That's really, really beautiful to see. But yeah, in the whole speedrun, we only need to do 2, and that's one of them.
So there are some Straw Hat Ronin now attacking us, and what the game tries to do here is, tell you about the new mechanic with the Sakai armor. Because during these standoffs, you are able to kill a maximum of 3 enemies if you have it fully upgraded. However, with the Sakai armor, you are now able to kill a total of 5 enemies during a standoff, and that is what the game is trying to teach you here. However, since this is basically the only thing that the Sakai armor is good at, aside from increasing the damage, we are immediately going to swap back to the Ghost armor as soon as we can, because of that whole terror mechanic, which is just vastly superior to everything else.
Yeah, so that standoff is actually really, really slow. We did some tests and comparing all the ways that standoff can go, and doing the smoke bomb assassination is every time faster than any standoff that you can do, because it's really slow. They can do like up to 3 like a fake start of the standoff, and yeah, so when you're grinding for really, really good times, you want to avoid every standoff that you can, because it is really slow. All the positioning, all the cinematic is beautiful and stuff, but it's really, really slow. So that standoff, that smoke bomb assassination that Aesh did is actually the faster that can go. Because sometimes one of them can be really far and not being able to kill him with that chain assassination. But if you can do 3 of them with the chain assassination, that's actually the faster that can go. So that was really nice.
And what we did there in that small village is that Yuriko, we've been talking about this whole poison thing with Yuriko, and Jin says, we can use a blow dart to shoot poison darts at the Mongols. However, in order to get the blow dart, you have to pick up some reeds to craft it out of. But again, we actually already have it, so what's the point again?
Also, now that we have the... No, go ahead.
Also, Yuriko, again, she's one of the important side quest characters in the game. And she has a really, really good side quest chain. Like, everybody who has seen one of their loved ones, or especially your grandparents, grow older and starting to be a lot more forgetful and stuff like that can probably empathize with that storyline, because everybody that I have talked to who has done the quest was like, oh yeah man, I can certainly remember a real life situation where something exactly like that happened, and it's a bit of a real tear jerker for sure. So definitely go ahead and do that quest line if you can.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima in that matter is really, really good at telling stories. You have the tale of Yuriko, the tale of Sensei Ishikawa, and every tale speaks about something that we have in life. Like, as I've said, Yuriko's storyline is against like being forgetful and being old and being alone as well. Sensei Chikawa has like a whole thing with honor and trust, and as well like having family. The whole
What's so funny?
tale of Lady Masako is like revenge and being like consumed by it. The whole Norio story is against like how fight is good or bad and stuff. So yeah, every story
I
had
know the story.
his own
My
like
uncle's
theme,
black eye took weeks to
and
heal.
it's really really well done. So props to Sucker Punch for that.
With that in mind, just, remember that everything is a bit depressing, I want to say. There aren't a lot of, well, there are some funny moments in the story for sure, but all of it is like very grim. Like there aren't a lot of, what's the word? Good things that happen. Like, it's really grounded in the war that is going on. So, don't suspect a happy story going on here.
Rest, Yuriko.
Yeah, and as Ash says, as you can see there, like that line of Jin saying, "I don't remember my father's laugh." I mean, that's that's really really sad. I mean, even though Jin is on the privileged side, he's the Jito's nephew and he's a samurai and lord. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing with like being a samurai and the whole relationship between Jin and his father being like so distant.
Sneak this poison across.
Um, and I remember Taka saying, "This is the first day that I don't go to sleep thinking that I'm gonna die because he was captured." I mean, as such, that it's really, really grim and but at the same time, I mean, it is worth after all.
I mean, some people may say that the story is a bit generic, maybe a bit predictable, and it also kinda is. It follows certain tropes that we have come to accept about, mainstream samurai, or rather samurai in the media over the years, and it plays a bit with that. But I just think it's a really well crafted story for sure that you can just go ahead and enjoy to its fullest.
All right.
Was it good? Okay.
So now we already did the Ghost of the Past. We have the blowgun that we already have. We have the Sakai armor that we already have, and now we can just continue with the all the mission that Lord Shimura gave to us. And the next one is to find a Mortal Kombat character and tell him that we need him to go to the mainland and ask for help. So we need him to go to the mainland Japan and tell the Shogun that please send reinforcements.
And if we are saying that we have to meet a Mortal Kombat character, we mean it. Like, seriously. Who would have known that that guy can actually be a pirate or a smuggler or even commandeer a ship, right? Like, I mean, that's like fascinating.
I mean, with that amount of arms, I will believe if you tell me that he's a smuggler.
I mean, he probably just has more armpits than the regular human to conceal his wares or whatever. But yeah, one of the main goals here is, of course, to notify the Shogun what's even happening on the island, because, the Mongols have all this sea blockade around the whole island, so there has been no communication with the mainland, so those guys don't even know what's even happening on Tsushima. This whole Mongol invasion has been flying under the radar for the whole time, so it is high time for us to try and tell the Shogun what is happening here, so you can actually send some reinforcements to help us reclaim the island from the Mongols.
Yeah, and this is actually a long road to Umugi Cove, which is like a hideout, I would say. And even though if you put the marker, it doesn't tell you exactly where it is. So you need to kind of find the secret entrance for this hideout, where apparently the Mongols, they have no idea that this exists. So there is actually nothing happening there regarding the Mongol invasion.
But yeah, if you want to go ahead and plug something or read some donations, I think that would be a good opportunity to do so.
Okay, so yeah, we're still working on that 50-50 incentive for the next game that is coming up, which is Metal Gear Solid. It's still a pretty, really, 50-50. We're right at the Otacon or the Merrill. Who are we gonna save? And then we're also raising funds for the Worldwide Veterinary Service, a wonderful fundraiser and a great service where they help animals. So helping animals in places where no one else can. Right now, thousands of animals are suffering silently with no chance of ever receiving veterinary care. Like you, we don't think this is fair. Worldwide Veterinary Services provides free expert care to animals in need all over the world. We do this by sending vets where they are needed most, training them to increase the standards of care globally, and by shipping urgent aid supplies worldwide every week of the year. So yeah, great fundraiser. If you can handle passing on even just $1 or £5 or any kind of change you might have in your pocket, we'd be greatly appreciated. It goes to a wonderful cause. And also, if anyone needs to get up and stretch for a moment, but don't leave, because we're still got so much more of this fabulous game to watch, because I'm enjoying it immensely.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That never happened before. Like, apparently I was so fast climbing that ladder that I left the guy here behind, who was supposed to tell me to climb up this ladder, that I had to go back down to tell him to come back up. So, yeah, that never happened before. I didn't know that was possible. So again, you know, don't go fast, but don't go too fast, I suppose.
Even though he lives here, and he doesn't know where he needs to go.
And there's our Mortal Kombat character.
There you go. He's lacking a couple of arms, but...
You might not even remember Goro, but, you know, there he is in the flesh.
Yeah, so this is like a pirate smuggler person, and he owes Lord Shimura a debt. So now Lord Shimura is cashing out that, and he's going to send a message to the mainland, so we can get some help from the Shogun.
So just wanted to let you know we did have a donation come in, and it is for £1, and it is from Reclesis, who basically is Team Otacon.
I mean, Otacon is just a bro, isn't he? You know, gotta save the bro, right? He's the more important character compared to Meryl. Because he actually shows up in any of the other games. Wait, Meryl shows up in Metal Gear Solid 4, doesn't she? But he's in Metal Gear Solid 2. That counts. I think I really have to get my Metal Gear lore in order, don't I?
All right. Well, thanks for that donation. Now we go to find Lord Shimura and his men, so we can get the message to the mainland. In this place, that fight that's coming up, we actually need to help Goro to pass the Mongol blockade, so he can get to the mainland. And yeah, we're gonna go with Lord Shimura and cleaning this port here. And a couple of funny things can happen here. Hopefully they are not gonna happen. Although with Ash luck this weekend, I want to think that they are going to happen.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
But yeah, so there is a lot of stuff that have problems in Ghost of Tsushima if you're going too fast. One of them is side characters, as we can already see, doing stuff if you are too far or too fast. And also doors are a thing in Ghost of Tsushima. So in Ghost of Tsushima, doors open and close like in real life, but they don't open and close by themselves. They need to be some Mongols opening and closing the doors. But sometimes the Mongols, they are not in sync, and they both start closing the door, but one of them was starting closing the door from behind. I mean, for outside. So they close the door and one Mongol is outside, so the game is, wait, what's happening? So the door just pop open right away, like glitch open, and then the Mongols need to close the door again. And that can happen and be really, really silly time loss, but let's see if we can watch it right now.
Yeah, for whatever reason, these Mongols who are just, opening and closing the gate, they are programmed in a specific way to do exactly this action. However, they are still considered to be, well, I guess, normal enemies. So they can get terrified by us killing other Mongols near them. And if that happens, well, it just totally screws with their script, which is to open/close the gate. And then we can run into a bit of a situation where the game basically soft locks because it will not allow us to continue anymore. So we'll have to go and restart a checkpoint to fix the situation, which of course will lose us a bit of time. It's not, a big time loss. Depending on how quick you are to catch up on what's happening, it may lose you a minute or so, but it's just heartbreaking to see if you are on PB pace or any whatever.
We have the advantage. Cross the bridge.
Yeah, so here we're going to again use these almighty gunpowder bombs at these caravans here. Most of the time they are enough for get rid of all the enemies. And yeah, you can see the doors there in the background. So Ash is going to actually get kind of away of
there
the
we
doors.
go. There we go.
Wait. Yeah, there you go. So you can see they close the door, and they both of them. That's awesome, man. Both of them closed the door from outside, and so they could not enter again, man. Oh my goodness, that was awful. I mean, it was great. Don't get me wrong, but it was awful.
I mean, at least it kind of fixed itself. So after opening and closing the door like 3 times, the script kicked back in, and they did what they were supposed to do. But sometimes they can just repeatedly do that, and it does not end, and you really have to go ahead and reload a checkpoint at that point.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, they started closing the door from outside, and yeah, it's just silly.
For some reason, only Lord Shimura can open this particular door. You cannot open it yourself ever.
Yeah, and now we're gonna... This is just run to the end as fast as you can type of deal. There is a Wacha at the end. So the Wacha is this like arrow launcher that they launch explosive arrows. And yeah, one of them is going to actually, that one there is going to attack Jin. And yeah, we need to just run as fast as we can to the end of the fight. I mean, of the Wacha, so we can kill the guys that are using it. This is like kind of a maze. I mean, this just run straight to the end. But we actually find a way to skip part of this and get to the final early. But as we said before, Ghost of Tsushima is full of little checkpoints, so even though there is a skip for getting to the Wacha faster, you skip one checkpoint, so you need to... It's not useful.
Also, we just heard that we are, collecting money for the veterinary services. Please don't help these dogs. Please just let them die. I hate them with every fiber of my being, because, I have dogs of my own. I love them to bits. But these little shitty Mongolian ankle biters can go and rot in hell for all I care. I just have to get that out there.
Yeah, the problem with those Mongols dogs is their hitboxes are just insanely weird. You hit one of them and you need to go away and then go back to hit the next one, because they have awful hitboxes. And when they jump to attack you, they can like... If they start the jump and you move, they actually can like move faster in the air and bite you anyways. So yeah, dogs in games... Dogs in real life, please help them. I am a dog person, so please help all the doggies in the world. but please don't help doggies in video games.
You know, they are basically the Ghost of Tsushima equivalent to RPG jerk birds in a way.
Yeah, and here we get the control of this weapon. Obviously, Lord Shimura, he doesn't like us to be using this because it's not honorable to use the weapon's enemy. But, I mean, this is the only way that we can clean the path so Goro can go through the blockade and get to the island so we can get help. But yeah, I mean, you can see Lord Shimura here being really selective of what things you can do and what things you can't do. So, but yeah, we are basically cleaning up all the boats so Goro can go into the blockade here.
Alright, we managed to save Goro. He is now on his way to mainland Japan to warn the shogun of what is happening on Tsushima Island. So hopefully we will be able to get some samurai reinforcements like really soon, so we can actually go ahead and attack Castle Shimura and, you know, wrestle it from the Mongol grasp.
An archer! Quick, hide!
Alright, yeah, so we have now completed all the 3 main tasks that we were supposed to do in the second act. So we are fast approaching the end of the second act already. And what is happening there is, you know, we are gathering our forces in order to stage an attack on Castle Shimura, as we just explained. Before we do that, though, we have some loose ends to tie up. One of those loose ends being Ryuzo. And he's actually been spotted in a fort near our camp here. So Lord Shimura asked us if we, you know, want to go ahead and maybe have a bit of a chat with Ryuzo and see what's going on there.
Yeah, so as I said before, Ryuzo is still alive. Lord Shimura actually like intercept a Mongol message where the Khotun Khan tells to Ryuzo to kill Jin at any cost. So now we go to Fort Koyasan, Nest of Traitors, and actually go there and do a funny explosion exploit of the bomb on the smoke bomb again. So how this next quest works? Somebody is going to be there and is going to lure all the enemies outside the fort, so the fort is alone and we can sneak and open one door. But again, we know that this almighty power smoke bomb can the game consider when you're in the middle of it, the game consider that you are alone, so we can actually go there with all the enemies inside, run right past them and go straight to the door and trigger the prompt there. And this is going to trigger actually a really funny glitch because all the enemies are going to despawn, but their voices or their souls, or I don't know why, is going to still be there, but it's going to be unable to interact with you. So in the whole next part, you are gonna hear the Mongols screaming and yelling at you, but they are actually not there. Because we did this in the wrong way. So the correct way is that Taka is going to lure them away and we can sneak. But we are just gonna go YOLO this thing and play through them because we don't care. And all this yelling that you're hearing right now, they're going to keep continue later, even though there is nobody there.
So there we go. We are through the gate, and yeah, you know, none of the Mongols should be in this camp anymore, because either they should have left or we should have killed the rest that are still there. So the game is gonna be a bit confused from this point onward, and you know, have a lot of Mongols yell at us for whatever reason.
I knew you were in trouble. I came to help, but the Mongols caught me.
There we go.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Try to get loose.
Yeah, they are really mad, but they can't do anything. They are trapped in the astral plane that somehow have access by sound. All right, so you can see that Aeshmah went chopping, but he didn't chop as much as he could. And this is why, because you get our gear back here, you actually can get full stuff. So you get, I think, only 2 of everything.
You basically get the base
And
amount that you were able to pick up of that particular item in the beginning.
yeah, so you actually get the things by default here. So if you have more stuff, you are gonna lose it. So you need to do some inventory management there. And yeah, in chat they are asking how Taka lost his head. Yeah, in the cutscene, the Khan is coming here to talk to Jin and tells Taka to kill Jin, but Taka, being the sweetheart that he is, he tried to kill the Khan, and because he's not like a warrior, he's a blacksmith. Easily the Khan just take his life in revenge. And yeah, that's so. If we can have some Fs in chat for Taka, it will be awesome.
And of course, you know, Yuna comes along because she found a letter from Chaka saying he's coming after Jin to help him. And yeah, she's not too pleased with her brother being, you know, kind of having a case of the dead.
Yeah, and here there is a really scripted fight where the enemies are going to spawn, so we can explode this barrel, and it should be easy for us to get to the door and just kill enemies in the way that they spawn.
Oh, hello there. Where did you come from? It's not prepared for that, dude.
Yeah, Ronins in differently to Mongols. When you fight, Ronins are really deadly. They are really fast and they are really hard to kill.
Yeah, apparently he didn't get scared by me throwing the bomb, or even get hit by the bomb, because he was kind of around the corner there. And basically a bomb explosion kind of has to have a line of sight of an enemy, if that makes sense. So if he's around the corner, he won't actually be affected by a bomb explosion. And that is why he could kind of blindside me from there. But yeah, anyway, we are actually now coming up against the last quest of Act 2. Yeah, making good progress here. Not the last, nearly the second to last quest of Act 2, sorry. But yeah, the Mongols are still angry at us, even though we are miles away from the encampment. But they just really like yelling.
Luckily for us, this glitch stopped when you fast travel. Luckily, can you imagine doing the rest of Act 3 with this yelling?
Oh my god. I mean, you know, imagine doing that against the second to last duel in the game, you know, all the Mongols just still screaming at you when you fight their, well, you know, leader.
Yeah, so lucky for us, Shogun help already arrived the island in a couple of minutes. It seems like the bullet train was already working here this time. And yeah, we now go to rescue or take back Castle Shimura. The Mongols are there, and yeah, so we have the Yarikawa people, we have Sensei Shikawa, Lady Masako, Yuna, and we have all the samurais that the Shogun sent. So I think we have an army big enough to go and try to take back Castle Shimura. So that's the thing that we're gonna do now.
Warriors, but I trust them with my life.
Then I will do the same.
It was like really interesting how fast these samurai showed up on the island, you know. We just sent a message like yesterday evening or something. All of a sudden, they're all ready to go. And that is some fast response time, guys. Like, holy crap.
It's time we save this island, and the people who call it home. Politics can wait until the Khan is dead.
Of course, Lord Sakai. Lord Shimura, your nephew has arrived. Jin, up here.
As you can see already, like the ghost being a problem between the samurais. Lord Shimura like
You've done well, Jin.
give you a hard time when you wanted to use the Wacha. Now Lord Oga is bringing this back. So yeah, Jin actions are, even though they are for the good of the island, they are no going. Um, they are still showing up into the mind of the samurais.
So yeah, we will now attack Castle Shimura like head on, like proper samurai do, and have this big fight against lots of people. So let's see if we can storm the gate here.
Yeah, and we are gonna have some. We can have some problems with doors again.
Don't jinx it.
No. So there is some enemies that leave the doors and go and fight here, and there is some enemies here that they are actually invincible until you kill X amount of enemies. They are the guys that in the door. After they close the door, you have to kill them. But if they are like in the animation of closing the door, you can do like infinite damage to them, and they're not gonna die. So yeah, doors being a thing in Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, it kind of worked. It looked iffy, but you know, the script fired.
Nice.
Torch them, or they'll pin us down.
Kill them all!
Okay,
Right.
so in this fight, there is some places where you need to kill everybody to get to the other part, and there is some places where you just have to go to the next checkpoint. And this is one of the parts where you don't need to kill everybody, so we're just going to go as fast as possible to the next part so we can trigger the next cutscenes. And that was unlucky.
Yeah, you can totally get shot down by these Mongol archers when you're swinging across those grapple points there. It definitely has happened. It definitely has happened quite often. It's a bit of a gamble to do it, but you know, it's the fastest possible way to do it. So I'm gonna try and do it, and it worked out this time.
And here we are going to go to the Wacha as fast as possible, so we can use it against the Mongols. And yeah, this is basically kill everybody here with this powerful machine. And as fast as we kill everybody here, we can get to the next part of the map.
Well, luckily for us, this Watcher thing seems to have some kind of friend-foe identification, because we can totally shoot at our own people and they won't take a smidge of damage, so lucky us. Also, Yuna seems to be a fan of Metallica or something, you know. She wants to listen to some Kill 'Em All, I suppose.
Yeah, and the game is kind enough and give you the mark where you need to shoot. And yeah, this is the last part when we need to shoot, and as fast as Yuna said that's enough, we can go and kill the rest of the enemies by hand.
Die if you don't change.
You are the only reason we've made it this far, and everyone knows it.
They still have a long way.
As you can see the purple guys and the white guys, and I mean I think they're green or blue. The people of Yerikawa, there is Norio. And yeah, the whole thing is all your allies are here with you, killing everybody. There is a leader here that we are going to use fire because, as we said before, the enemies can't block fire attacks. So if you have played Ghost of Tsushima, you know this stand mechanic where there is 4 stands, one for each type of weapon. You have one for swords, one for shields, one for spears, and one for big guys. So the bad thing is that every enemy has like a guard that you need to break to make damage to them. And yeah, if you have for example a enemy with a shield, you need to use the shield stance and break the guard, and then you can do damage. But if you are using fire, it doesn't matter which stance you're using. You can go pass through the guard and deliver damage immediately. And also an enemy on fire has the possibility to refight another enemy, so it's win-win.
Also, the thing is, like, personally, I think that the moon stance that you can use against the brutish enemy types, you know, the big guys with the two-handed axes and stuff, is kind of useless because you can't just use one of the other stances to go ahead and, you know, stagger them and whatnot, because their guard bar is, like, very short to begin with. So, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of use for that, because you can just go ahead and use the water stance, for example, where you can do these 5 quick strikes in succession and actually deal more damage to them, but that just might be me.
Yeah, if you have played Legends, you know that most of the time you can only have one stance, and all people have the water stance.
Yeah.
Okay, can I?
Go ahead.
We have time for. So we have a donation of £14 to bring us to 1,540 pounds raised so far. Message is saving the island and helping the animals at the same time. Doing great.
Definitely trying our best here. So yeah, this is the last quest of Act 2. At the end of the previous quest, the Khan actually went ahead and, you know, set some horses on fire with some explosive carts behind them. And that basically destroyed a bridge between the main part of the castle and the castle keep. And, you know, Lord Shimura is just like, oh no, we're just gonna repair that bridge and keep charging the enemy head on. And Jin was like, no, that will just, you know, kill all of our people there. The Mongols are too well prepared. We can't keep doing that. Lots of people will die. So he's actually sneaking off by his own into the castle keep with the intention of just poisoning all the Mongols and getting rid of the threat without endangering, you know, the lives of the samurai and the other people that have flocked to our cause. And that, of course, you know, will probably have some repercussions if anybody were to find out what he is about to do here.
Fortified defenses, explosives. My uncle's leading us.
Yeah, so basically we are getting out of the samurai way, like all in, and yeah. So in the cutscene, Jin asks Yuna to get the most amount of poison that people can gather, and we're gonna go here and actually poison the Irak, which is like the fermented milk of a horse that they drink. And we're gonna be here again using the strat where you can roll without being seen. And this is a prompt that you need to trigger when you are alone. So again, we're gonna use the smoke bombs to do that, so we can do this as fast as possible.
That's where they store the milk.
And we can do the next part, which is another duel.
So interesting thing about this camp is you can actually go ahead and kill the Mongols and kill them over and over again. However, there's actually an infinite amount of Mongols that can spawn here. So you actually have to sneak through this camp.
Yeah, so I think the game does that because it needs to be consistent with the story.
Yeah.
So you need to be sneaky there and kill the guys with the poison. And yeah. So you are going to see Aeshmah changing outfit again. So you can already imagine what's coming up here. And here we're going to fight Ryuzo again. But this time is going to be a little bit different because when we enter this part, he actually said, okay, so I surrender. Well, how about we said that I was a spy and this was all planned, so I can be in your side again. And Jin says, okay, no, that's not how it works. How about you surrender and you face your crimes? And Ryuzo said, no, I'm not going down that path, so let's fight this off.
So at this point we finally kill off Ryuzo. He is down further count, and with that we have, completed the second act of the game, and we are now into the final act. So there's about, 40 to 45 minutes of run left before we are at the complete end here. And now apparently, the samurai and Lord Shimura come into the castle keep and see what Jin has done. He has poisoned the whole enemy. And they are actually, mad at him for doing that because, using terror and poison is not the way of the samurai. So he surrenders willingly to them, saying, I did that to save our people, I did it to save the island. And they have now imprisoned him. And as we learned from Kenji, the shogun now demands Jin's head for what he has done. He has put shame on his clan and on the samurai code and whatnot. So our allies here free us so we can continue the fight against the Mongol invasion. Samurai code and the shogun and whatever be damned.
Yeah, so now we need to escape this. We are on Castle Shimura, this place that we already saved a couple of minutes ago. And yeah, Jin, he's okay with doing this for the island. He is okay. I'm gonna face the consequences. But the fact is that the samurai way, it seems like it's not useful against the Mongols because, oh, that was unlucky.
Didn't crouch down enough.
You need to exit this place without being seen. So yeah. So Jin knows that the samurai way is not going to be effective against the Mongols because, well, the story said this, that the Mongols were actually really smart in learning the ways of the enemies before attacking. So having like a really straight path of behavior is a really bad idea if you are like a warrior or being predictive. So Jin said, okay, so I'm gonna escape and I'm gonna kill the Khan in my own way because I know that the ghost path is useful in this matter. So yeah, so with the help of Kenji, he's going to exit this place and go into
Kamiagata.
Kamiagata, which is the third part of the map that is close before this part. So we have Isuhara, Toyotama, and Kamiagata, and now begins Act 3, which is the final act of the game, which mission is kill the Khan.
I just kind of love how simple it is. Act 1 is like, save your uncle and do all of this kind of stuff. Act 2 is like, retake Castle Shimura and do all of these kind of stuff. And Act 3 is just, kill the Khan, end it.
Yeah, and well, the horse that we have sadly died. That was his grave. Yeah. So we can have some Fs in the chat as well for the horsey there.
All the veterinary services in the world sadly can't bring that horse back to life, as Sora, gave his life to help us escape from Castle Shimura. In the process, he has been shot by a lot of arrows and ultimately succumbs to its wounds. And this is a very heartbreaking cutscene if you were to watch it. And, if you do a 80% speedrun of the game from fresh save file, you have to watch this scene like every time. And damn, am I glad that we can run New Game Plus where we don't have to watch that every time.
Yeah, actually, I watched it yesterday. Not for fun. I was doing an 80% run. And I forgot how sad that is. The face that the horse do, like looking at you. Oh my god, it was awful.
It's like slowly limping at the end, Jin being totally exhausted at the top of it, and then both of them just collapsing, and man.
They poisoned me.
But yeah, actually, depending on the timeline, you know, we've not been imprisoned for only like a night or so. We have been imprisoned for kind of weeks. So weeks have passed between the end of Act 2, our duel with Ryuzo, and the start of Act 3. And in the meantime, the Mongols have actually learned to replicate the poison that we have been using against them. And that's kind of bad.
Yeah, so Jin actually survives the poison that we use and one kill every enemy in the island. And my personal hypothesis about how he survived it that the Mongols didn't knew how to make the poison right. So that's why he was weaker and he survived. And also he removed the um, the arrow right away. So that's my personal hypothesis that about how he survived that.
Yeah, I think that works. Also, you gotta remember, you know, Jin can just walk it off. Like, you can, of course, also spend your resolve to actually go ahead and heal yourself. And what Jin does is, when you do that, he just does a little stretch, so to speak, and then he is good to go. He recovers health, and he can, you know, cure poison and whatnot. So, you know, Jin is just that Chad of a guy, so he can just walk off like sword wounds and poison and whatnot. It's just, you know, just walk it off, dude. It's no big deal. You know, just go ahead. Just a bit of resolve, walk it off. Everything's fine.
Can I have a moment for a donation?
Go ahead. It's a perfect opportunity.
Okay, so we have another £10 donation come in from Meryl Hype. Do you think love can bloom on the battlefield?
Everyone who followed me would have attacked the
Well, if we were to go by Ghost of Tsushima standards, it's a bit of yeah, kind of answer, I want to say, because, you know, obviously we have a bit of an affectionate story going on between Jin and Yuna here, the two main characters of the game. However, what Ghost of Tsushima, the game, does is it doesn't explicitly state it. You know, it's being hinted on that they have feelings for each other, but it's never explored. So, you know, you don't have an explicit love story woven into the narrative, which I think is actually one of the strong points of the game, because it just wouldn't fit in, because the main focus of the game is Jin and his relationship to the samurai code, to his uncle, and that's like the pivotal driving point of it. And just trying to cram a love story into that kind of thing, I think would take away from that impact that we're gonna have at the end of it.
Even knowing what they've cost me, I'd make them again. Even if the Shogun brands me as a traitor.
Maybe the donation was referring to the two guys in the rooftop before that were looking to each other's eyes.
Yeah, there was definitely something going on between those two. I have no idea what, but they were feeling it, you know. They were like staring into each other's eyes like star-crossed lovers do at the first night out or something. So, yeah, I mean, there you go.
For us and the Mongols.
Then again, you know, we do have the tendency to make our enemies really hot, you know, with all kinds of flaming blades and bombs. So maybe that counts as well. I mean, in that case, we really do love our enemies.
Let's go.
So it looks like our bid war is starting up again. We have Khan as slightly behind, and looks like Meryl has jumped forward. So I don't know if we wanted to do a bid war here, maybe get a little more donos in here, see who can actually win this, because it looks like it's real close.
Khan. Khan. Where are you people? That was strange. I think I was missing an archer there.
That's everyone here.
The temple will have strong.
All right, so we are here in Kamiagata. This is the third part of the game, of the map, and we need like a clubhouse, like a place to do all our stuff. So we actually are going to free this Jogaku's pagoda, and yeah, this is, I think, one of the favorite parts of Aeshmah as well.
And we have
The
our
fact
weekly rendition of Mongols on ice. You know, we're trying to lure all these Mongols on the frozen lake here by sounding the alarm to lure them over. And there are these conspicuous red barrels stacked on top of the frozen lake, which our dear Mongols will pass here. And, you know, I mean, come on, dude. This isn't rocket science. There are red barrels on a frozen lake. What do you think is gonna happen? Like, why are you guys so dumb to walk near those? There's a whole lake that you could have used to get to me, but no, you have to walk, like, right around the explosive barrels. I mean, I thank you for doing it. I just didn't understand why.
Plan our attack carefully.
Yeah, so now we are going to Yogaku's Pagoda. We are gonna again exploit the rolling thing by killing these two big guys that are in the door, and they're just going to use our bombs so we can clean the rest. We have some monks that are hostages here, and one thing that the game has that we haven't seen because we kill everybody so fast is this kill the hostages situation. So we need to kill everybody super fast or quietly, because if the Mongols know that we are here, they are gonna start going go for the hostages. And if they kill a hostage, that's game over. So we need to go and do the mission all over again so the hostage can survive.
Which is actually pretty interesting because what happens in the game is, you know, you see these skull and crossbones icon over an enemy telling you that he is going to go and kill a hostage. However, once he actually reaches a hostage, he does his little happy dance, I want to say, in front of the hostage for like a minute or so before he actually goes through with the act. So I don't know if that is some kind of Mongol intimidation dance or whatever the hell is happening there, but at least gives us a little bit of time to react to what's going to happen.
We have another donation if this is good.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we have another £9 donation coming in from Otacon Hype. This is just like in one of my anime.
Well, I mean, you know, just keep the donations coming, guys. Not only are you helping the best girl / Otacon survive, you're also helping to save some animals along the way. I mean, what else can you ask for? So this is another kind of infamous point in the run, because now you will actually see the breadth of Kamiagata, the third region of the game, because, you know, it's all covered in snow and stuff. And since we are basically gonna ride through a whole snowy forest, it is really hard to navigate it because basically everything looks the same. There are no clear indicators of where you're going. So you really have to learn this route by heart, I want to say, so you don't get lost in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, and another good thing about the like the whole landscape, if you remember a couple of hours ago, the game was really green, and you have the golden forest was really bright and yellow and beautiful, and then you have Act 2 where you have like a little bit of a storm coming up, a little bit more like dry grass and maybe a little bit darker, and now you have like this thing which is snowy and always gray skies, and this is actually like an intended thing in the game. So the most you go to in the ghost path, the more like gray the landscape became. So this is actually a really nice touch, and this also, like, if you for example are doing like a really long mission, if you for example do like ghost things like killing enemies from stealthy, the game's like weather actually start changing a bit. So the whole weather and landscape things is tied to the behavior of Jin Sakai and how he moves between the enemies.
Also, welcome to Takeshi's Castle. Well, not quite, but close enough, I want to say. And yes, you are morally obliged to do this joke every time you come to this place. It's the law. And God forbid if any of you guys don't know Takeshi's Castle. Like, why have you been in the 90s or whatever that show aired? Like, seriously?
it was an air here. I had to look that up.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it
Sad
was an air
times.
here where I live.
Well, dude, you've missed out. Like, I still remember watching that show once, and actually I saw the guys win. You know, they did take over Takeshi's castle, and it was the wildest thing ever. Like, you know, you watch hundreds of episodes, or how many you need to see them win, like, once. It was glorious. I will forever remember that day, I suppose. But yeah, coming back to the game a bit here, you know, now we have a new staging ground in Jokaku's temple up here in the north. However, our allies are still trapped in the south because, you know, Castle Shimura sits squarely at the border between the south and the north. There is another outpost that the Mongols currently inhabit that could also allow our allies to join us up here. So what we're going to do now is, of course, to assault Fort Kaminojake, I think it's called. And that will open up the path back to the south so our allies can finally join us, so we can, you know, think about how best we can go ahead and attack the Khan and end this Mongol invasion here.
Yeah, we are already getting close to the final of the run. So Takeshi was like a quote unquote friend of Yuna, and he actually made a deal with Jin. That is, Jin is going to let them pass the winter in the castle here. I mean, the fort Kaminodake here to for their help. And yeah, we need to clean this path. So wait, why we need to clean this port so people can go through?
Yeah, so we can get our allies from the south, like, you know,
Yeah.
Norio and Lady Masako and Sensei Ishikawa, the whole gang. You know, need to collect the Scooby gang.
Yeah, I actually didn't remember why we need to do this because
Back away from the edge. I'll be right up.
yeah, as you can see, this went inadvertently, but Aeshmah had actually the Mongol armor war for a bit there. So this armor is a backup. So if you, for example, are in a place where you can run away from the patrols that spawn randomly in the map, you can wear this armor. It's like you are wearing like a Mongol person. So they took more to figure it out that okay, so this guy is dressed like a Mongol. So but let's see his face and see if he's actually a Mongol. So you have more time to you have more time to pass without them seeing you. Okay, and this part we need to kill everybody, but some really bad things can happen in this part. There is 2 enemies, one in each corner, that they should get scared, but if they don't, they are really far. So it's a waste of time going there and killing them. So luckily for us, or we're hoping they are not going to be alive, or they are going to be scared after this. And it seems like, yeah, we had lucky there.
Oh, they didn't respawn. That's nice. Yeah, sometimes one group of the Mongols there can actually go ahead and respawn even though you've just killed them. Which of course, you know, is slow.
Yeah, so Ghost of Tsushima skip cutscene is actually quite weird because you are not skipping the cutscene. It's like you are loading and saving the game like really fast. So sometimes enemies respawn after you skip a cutscene, but that's the reason the game, how the cutscene is skipped is you are saving and loading a save file basically. And that's actually good because I think you get, if you get hurt, for example, I think you get your health back after skipping a cutscene.
Yes, every time you skip a cutscene, you basically regain all your health.
Yeah, that's why, because it's as you are saving, you're loading a save file. Yeah. And here, you don't have to kill every enemy. You need to kill X amount, so the next wave can spawn. And yeah, all your allies went through the back door here, and you need to help them to kill the last amount of Mongols, and this mission is done.
Who did we miss? Oh, that dude. Okay.
That was close. The fort is ours, my lord.
Alright.
Is everyone alright?
Yeah, and there is a funny line that I forgot the other day. So Takechi, when he figured out that Jin is the ghost, he yelled, "But you're supposed to be 9 feet tall." And this is a really nice touch because the whole ghost thing is like it's like a trick so Mongols can be more scared of the ghost, what that is. And yeah, the whole thing, like the terrifying enemies, is all based in like war tactics of the lowering the moral of the enemy by make them believe that there is a foe that is really powerful, and in this case, for some reason, really tall.
I mean, you know, you have to remember that this is taking place sometimes in the medieval times. So, you know, they had no smartphones or internet to quickly pass information around. So, you know, this tale of the ghost started somewhere and then just got embellished further and further by the people talking about it. So, you know, it's like a nice real touch, I want to say. But yeah, this is actually the shortest quest in the game. It only takes about 3 minutes to complete. Our goal here is to go to a vantage point and have a look at Port Izumi, where Khotun Khan is currently residing, and you know, we have to plan our attack against that fortress, so to speak. And that is why we have to gather some information to plan our strategy of how we can go ahead and you know, flush him out or take on all his forces. And, you know, as always, it's a stealth mission. We don't care a lot about stealth missions. We can just go through all of it. And that is why this is a very, very short quest for us. And even if you were not to roll, it's still a pretty short one. But yeah.
Not a lot of problem the game wants you to go for the back and kill enemies or be really stealthy. But yeah, we can just go through the front door and do all the stuff without caring about being stealthy at all.
Look at the waves.
Another thing is we will have to do another survey on top of this lighthouse here. However, we don't have to actually look at all the points of interest here. We only have to look at the 2 to the right and the 2 to the left. You don't have to look at the one in the middle. And again, this is not a major skip or anything. It just saves you to having to listen to that particular dialogue, which is, you know, once again, a couple seconds that you can just safely cut out of the run here.
Empty.
Too open. Can't defend it.
A good place for an ambush. That ridge has an open sightline to the Mongol fleet.
Imagine what we could do to
But yeah, it looks like that we will be able to complete this quest under 3 hours, which is pretty nice. I'm not exactly sure how fast I was on my PB pace, but every time that you are able to finish this particular quest under 3 hours, you know that you are on a really good pace for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and the thing that we discovered in this quest is that the Khan is actually gathering poison, so he can attack the mainland with the poison as well, like Jin did. So that's the thing that we discovered right in this quest.
Yeah, so now, you know, now we know what the Khan is up to with the whole gathering the poison stuff. So we have to do something about it, right? We have to attack Port Izumi as fast as we possibly can, but Jin fears that we do indeed not have enough manpower to do that. So what he decides to do is ask his uncle for help. You know, like you can remember, we are not at the best of terms right now, so this is a little bit of a risky business. However, Jin being the ghost and sneaky ninja that he is becoming, decides to single-handedly infiltrate Castle Shimura once again. To drop his uncle a message and not necessarily ask for his forgiveness, but ask to become, you know, allies in order to bring down the Mongol invasion.
Yeah, and here we are going to get a new horse. So we had our first samurai horse that sadly died. Then we have like a horse that
I grew up there.
it has some issues. I mean, it was kind of old, I think. And now we have a new horse, and we can name it again. And this is the horse that is going to be with us for the rest of the run.
Yeah, thank God for a backup horse.
And here we actually need to wait until the mission gets crossed so we can fast travel to this point. And now we are going to enter the same castle that we say before, but really sneaky, without anybody noticing us. And yeah, so you know games that sometimes the story is not, it doesn't make sense or of your actions. For example, if you can defeat a game in a pacifist way and then everybody hates you because you kill everybody in the cutscene, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So in Ghost of Tsushima, that doesn't happen because, for example, the next part, if you kill an enemy here, it's game over. So because the story needs to Jin for entering this place without being a bad person or without killing allies. So we're gonna try to do this by using bombs and stuff. And yeah, if we kill an enemy, that can happen by mistake because we slash doors for opening them. And if an enemy is in the way, is going to die, and we're going to have to do this all over again. But yeah, we need to go to the Jito's bedroom and put our letter, telling that hopefully he can join us against the Khan on Port Izumi.
Yeah, so these are all the samurai. Of course, we are not allowed to kill any of them, as we just explained. We just have to roll up to this kind of obelisk-looking thing to our left, and then we know we are clear, so we can actually start running again to save a bit of time. And we will just sneakily make our way back into Castle Shimura, and you might have guessed it already, but we will actually take the exact same way that we took before at the end of Act 2. So, you know, whatever we are doing here might start to look really familiar, especially once we get onto this log here, as we're gonna do the same amount of swings and jumps as we did when the castle was still inhabited by the Mongols.
Yeah, and we're going to abuse the smoke bombs if they are necessary, and also the rolling. There is actually a specific path that the game, I think, wants you to take. So, for example, when an enemy Mongol is alerted by you, it's not going to be game over until they yell samurai. And in this case, I don't think, and Aeshmah, please correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the samurais here can do that. I don't think they can yell samurai and being game over. So we actually have more time since the game registered that you are inside and you are spotted.
Yeah, so exactly. You know, we are supposed to go through here all sneaky-like. However, as Charlton just explained, the game only triggers a game over once your enemies actually call for help, because at that point you are counted as being seen. You know, just to give you a little bit of a leeway, I guess, during these sneaking missions, so you don't immediately fail just because an enemy saw a little bit of a glimpse of you. It actually waits for the enemies to call for help, because, you know, once they call for help, of course, everybody gets alerted, and then you have been seen. However, these samurais all think they can probably take you on one-on-one or whatever, so they will never call for help, so you will never fail the mission by getting seen at this point in the run. So, you know, just run through the castle. No consequences attached.
Okay, real quick donation.
Go ahead. Oh, just
Okay,
1 second. 1 second, you can do that in, because we'll have a bit of a waiting section coming up, because, you know, we are fast approaching the end of a game. There are only 2 quests left remaining. One is the attack on Port Izumi. And in order to do that, we will talk to Yuna for a bit here and then prepare. However, Yuna will take her sweet ass time walking around the compound here, so we have to wait about 2 minutes or so for her to get to a specific spot where we can trigger the next conversation to actually get into the last few fights of the run. So from this point on, go ahead and read some donations if you want to.
Okay, so we have a £1 donation coming in from Tofu, and it says, Meryl wins, the bromance is dead. This has been a public service announcement. So it looks like we're having our 50-50 battle war is still on the table. Right now it looks like Meryl is ahead.
No, bad Meryl, down. Save Argon.
I hope it helps.
He's the only waifu we need? I don't know. I mean, to be fair, who would you rather go on a date with? This buff military girl or the sweet little nerd that knows how to build a freaking walking tank? I mean, what are you even gonna talk about at dinner? You know, military strategies? How to get buff in 5 days or something? Or how to construct a fucking mech? I know what I would go for.
Well, I think people is half in between. Okay, so yeah, we need to wait here until the game expects you to go and talk to every one of your allies here, but we are not going to do that. We went shopping, and luckily for us, actually the you being in a merchant doesn't stop time outside. So Yuna is gonna keep moving, so that's nice. And yeah, we just need to wait here for Yuna to get to this point. We're gonna see like getting our stuff ready for action. And what in the next cutscene that we are not going to see, Yuna actually asked Jin for, okay, man, just let's your uncle fight their samurai war. Let's go and
just leave.
Let's go and yeah, just leave with me. Not in a romantic way, I will say. It's like, bro, let's go. And Jin is, I mean, I have done all this. I am not a samurai anymore, so I can't let this unfinished. I need to finish this.
So here we go. This is the assault on Port Izumi. Basically the last thing that you have to do, right? Kill the Khan. That is why we're here. That is all this is about.
Yeah, let's kill this guy. Yeah, so this cutscene is actually, I mean, this mission is actually called Eternal Blue Sky, which have a lot of symbolism, a lot of the Mongolian symbolism, if you want to check that out. Yeah, basically, it's basically go in here and kill a bunch of enemies. And after we kill enemies in this area, we don't need to kill anybody else in this part. So we actually can go and get rid of most of our stuff. So we can go here, balls to the wall, and use every explosive, every arrow, everything that we can. Except for sticky bombs that we are going to use at the end. But yeah, luckily for us, we have a lot of barrel here with gunpowder bomb. I mean gunpowder. And yeah, as you can see, we can just use everything that we have.
I think we waited longer on Yuna to get here than those fights actually lasted. At least it felt that way to me.
Yeah, we need to talk to Yuna here. And she's taking his time. And yeah, now we just need to run.
So what's happening here is we are splitting up from our allies. they volunteer to just attack the main force of the Mongols like head on at the front gate, while Jin just sneaks in through the back and goes for the can like immediately. So, you know, a little of a pincer attack going on in a way.
Watchtower is perfect. Can see the whole camp.
Yeah, and here we just need to run, and we are gonna encounter. There's another runner, Viking, and this is his favorite tree. There is a tree here that is really happy to see us. It moves like that. I don't know why.
Just have to fix them.
And this was a smoke bomb, so they can't shoot us, because if you get shot in the middle of the ladder, you're gonna fail. And again, this is probably one of those parts where the game it kind of tricked you as a player and make you believe that you need to kill everybody here, but you can actually go run in between these enemies, and it doesn't really matter. The next part is going to trick it anyways. And as you can see, Aeshmah put another armor right now. There's a duel coming, but he puts the Gosaku armor. And this armor, in difference with the Sakai armor, is based on bludgeoning, which is breaking the guard of the enemy. So in this case, the can has a lot of guard. So we need to break that guard as soon as possible, so we can do some nice damage. And in this case, the Gosaku armor is made for that. And the Khotun Khan fight, even though you can see his life, see his health bar, the fight is going to end before he has no health. Okay, in that cutscene, the Khan uses poison against Jin, and Jin now has another outfit. This is the Kensei armor, and this armor is for this fight because it helps you to regain a resolve really fast, and we need resolve for the last fight. And also the ghost weapons deliver a lot of damage, and we're going to use now sticky bombs against the Khan. And also we have a charm. As you can see in the bottom right corner, there is the ghost stance, and every time you get hit, you lose all your ghost stance. But with this armor, every time you get hit, you lose one death. So you can easily gain your resolve back. I mean the ghost stance back. And yeah, that's basically why we use this armor here, and obviously because the resolve we need it for later. This is the ghost stance, and with this armor we can do 5 strikes. With normally we should be able to do only 3. And yeah, this armor is actually an armor that you get from a side quest as well, and that was really fast, really fast.
That was a good fight, yeah. I'm happy with that. But
yeah, that's all of the Khan.
Yeah, we kind of forgot to shout for time, right? Like, we killed the Khan, so post-game content coming up? No, of course not. We still have a bit of the run to go for. Like, we have about, I want to say 6 minutes left in this run, because, yeah, loose ends. We have killed the Khan. We have more or less, you know, ended the Mongol invasion. I mean, there are still Mongols on the island, obviously, but, you know, we have killed their leaders, so we can easily mop up the rest of them. However, there is still this issue with the samurai going on.
Yeah, one thing that we didn't see is that the army of Lord Shimura actually show up to the fight. And yeah, now the Khan is dead. But yeah, at what cost for Jin? I mean, Jin went full ghost, so now he has to face the consequences of that.
So Yuna tells us, that Lord Shimura came by, and he wants to have a bit of a talk with us. See what's going on there, and he wants us to meet at Omi Village, our hometown, to have a bit of a chat about the things that have been transpiring in the meantime where we hadn't seen each other. Not, a meeting as enemies, but just as, people that have mutual respect for each other and have some unresolved business going on. So what Lord Shimura is going to tell us is that the Shogun has disbanded Clan Sakai, Jin's clan, so Jin is not a samurai anymore. Another clan will come and occupy his lands and belongings and whatnot, so the two of them decide to pay a visit to the graveyard of Jin's family to pay their respects to Jin's dead father and mother. And, talk about things that are happening along the way.
So I have just a question about the game. So from the beginning through the end of most of all this quest, is like a time frame, like within a year, or is this like because it's all the travel he has to run around?
There is no specific time frame mentioned. No.
Okay, I was wondering about that because I was like, wow, it's like in the fall and then you go through winter and then you have to. Yeah.
The only thing that we know kind of for certain is that when Jin got imprisoned at the end of Act 2, once we took Castle Shimura and we had our fallout with the samurai and Lord Shimura, that a couple weeks or so passed, but other than that, there is no clear time frame for the whole thing. I mean, it is probably a good estimate to say that this took place about a couple of months or so at least, but no, they don't give specific dates. I mean, you gotta keep in mind that this is kind of a historic setting, like this Mongol invasion of Tsushima actually took place. But other than that, everything else is fiction. Like, there was no clan Sakai or clan Shimura. And, the creators just took a bit of liberty with the whole story. Speaking of which, we still have a bid war going on of the fate of Lord Shimura. So that will come to a close in about a minute or so. So, if anybody wants to go ahead and snipe that, this is your chance.
And right now it looks like the polls are in favor of killing Lord Shimura, so but the spare still has a chance in case anybody wants to go for that.
Let them do that. They'll listen to you.
Openly defied me, Jin. My most trusted warrior.
Yeah, and we're fast approaching now the end. As you can see, before Aeshmah fast travel, he already put the Kosaku armor again, and now we have another attire that we can't change. And we have that armor before that cutscene because in the same way that it could happen with the Sakai armor, if you put an armor in a cutscene, all your
quick interjection.
all your charms.
Could you close the bid war once I reach that point down there, like this plaza thing? So about 10 seconds or so. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so as I said before, if you put an armor in a cutscene, all the charms that you have are going to duplicate in the armor that you get in the cutscene. So in this case, even though Jin has this armor on, this armor has all the charms that the Kosaku armor had, which is based on bludgeoning, which is breaking the guard of the enemy as soon as possible.
Yeah, and once again, what happens here is that Lord Shimura tells us, well, the Shogun sent him to take the ghost's head because the ghost is now an outlaw. He is a enemy of the state, and we are pitted against our uncle. So what is it gonna be? Kill or spare as we go into the last fight of the game here?
Okay, it looks like the final one is to kill Lord Shimura.
Okay, so we will honor the wishes of an old man.
Yeah, so we have a running thing on the community that if you PV, you kill, and if you don't PV, you save Lord Shimura. And yeah, in this case, we are going to kill him. And the game gives you the choice. And I just learned a couple of days ago that saving Lord Shimura is actually the canon and ending of the game.
Let me go in peace.
All right. So this fight is going to depend in how many resolve you have. If you have a lot of resolve, you can do this fight very differently. But if you don't, you need to wait.
Damn it! Did a little bit of a mistake there. Guess we just have to do that again. Now this is the RNG finally coming to bite me in the ass. You know, I was waiting for it. I was ready. Here we are.
Yeah, Lord Shimura is very deadly. His attacks have so much damage.
Also, he's pretty fast for an old man, you know.
I mean, he's the Jito after all.
For sure.
This is not my revenge. This is not my revenge.
Yeah, and time is going to be when Aeshmah press X after picking the choice, by the way.
Alright, so it's coming up. We are gonna kill him. And that is time. And we'll just go ahead and watch this ending in silence because, you know, you guys graciously donated for that. It will only take about a minute or so, so, you know, let's see this unfold.
As a great warrior, a wise leader, and a father.
Thank you, son. Find me in the next life.
I will.
And there we go. That was Ghost of Tsushima, folks. Now, one thing that we totally glossed over that I only just now noticed is that after Jin's father died, Lord Shimura actually took Jin in and basically raised him. And during the story, it has actually become clear that Lord Shimura actually wants to adopt Jin formally. And the Shogun even agrees to do that before we attack and reclaim Castle Shimura. However, after our second duel against Ryuzo, you know, when we have poisoned all the Mongols and we get captured by Lord Shimura and the samurai, Jin says, you know, he basically renounces the adoption papers and says, no, he is the ghost. He is not the son of Lord Shimura. And that is like, you know, the soul dynamic going on there. So it's a really sad story, but it is really, you know, great having to watch that and see all of that unfold. And it really comes to a head at the ending there with the duel like, between, you know, Jin and Lord Shimura and all that stuff.
Yeah, hopefully the people that choose death are happy with Jin killing his father, basically. Yeah, it's a really nice ending. It's a really nice game.
Jin.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was like, we did have another donation come in right before the fight, but I didn't want to interrupt the fight because it is so epic. We have a 10-pound donation from Nick RP Green. Said, let's make sure House's fingers take a beating on the hands of Ocelot's torture, shall we?
Oh, jeez. Anyway, guys, we are at the end of this run. Thank you so much for the organizers for having us. This was a very fun experience once again, you know, running this wonderful game for you folks. Thank you so much for Charlton for commentating for me once again. Sadly, we didn't PB this time, but we were off by about 2.5 minutes, so not too bad. I mean, if you were to take out the technical difficulties we would have, this would have been a minute faster. Thank you so much for the community. For supporting this, and yeah, Charlton, if you have anything else to say.
And not much. It's always a pleasure being here and help all these good causes. It's always it's fun to be here with Aeshmah, showcasing the game. We are a really small community, so we are always looking for new runners. So yeah, join us with Ghost of Tsushima. You can see it's really fun, really easy to learn. So yeah, thanks you for the organizer and the donations, and that was all for me.
Good luck to all the rest of the runners. Have a fun marathon, and hope to see you guys soon.
And thank you for being a part of our wonderful Thunderthon today. And if a mod's available, if they could put a shout out for Ashrun, we could appreciate that so we can get to more people interested in such an amazing game. And thank you for giving us such an amazing run on this game. It's beautiful and amazing, the different fights and all the different ways you can get about to take out those ways of getting there faster. GG to everybody on this, and thank you so much.
Bye bye.
I'm just gonna keep waving. Till the end of days. If I have to. Hopefully not.